Sorry about that, guys. For some of y'all who don't know, my name is Jamie, and here tonight we've got Will Best commentating.
Thank you guys for joining us.
We had a little mic difficulties, so we weren't able to get game one. So for game two, we got Cody Burns and Cody Angeloff. They're both playing PK Fire. Burns starts with an Allure, pitches a Farfa. Reveals special the Lich, and normal summons a Farfa. Opening double Farfa, or possibly even drawing it off the Allure.
So clearly he's going to try to make a Beatrice here so that way he has multiple disruptions with the... Not the best start for Burns here.
With Torgod and Terror Tops.
He doesn't even make a Beatrice.
Set 2, and then I think he's going to hang on to the Beatrice play until it's absolutely necessary. I think
That is
that's
true.
I think that's one of the more crucial cards in the deck that you just got to hang on to until you just need it.
Because as we saw last game, losing his Beatrice that early really set him back.
And Angela normal summons Scar, reveals a special to Seer, uses a Dante in defense mode, which is your typical play here. And now let's see what Burns decides to do. He may have a strike face down.
Yeah. Which would make sense because we know that he'll get to add back the Seer, but since he's already used his normal, he's already special summoned Seer.
But I see a Fog Blade and a Strike and an Unknown.
I think it's an Emptiness?
Possibly, but even here, it's...
So he's going to get to search a tour guide here, more than likely. Yeah, puts Burns down to 6,500.
I was checking to make sure which one. And he uses Scarm's effect and adds Tour Guide.
Okay. Let's see what Burns has got going on.
And who knows, maybe Angelov kept a Spell Fragrance in. We saw that in game one that Spell Fragrance really didn't help either player. But for all you know, one of them may decide to keep him in case his opponent played Twin Twister.
I will say this at this point, he probably would have already flipped it if he did have it set.
You're not wrong.
So second Fog Blade, a Gloves, and Libic.
Yes.
Wonder if we'll use Libic's effect, or if he even can.
I'm not quite sure. I couldn't see the rest of his hand.
Because he did not mill a Scarm, so he didn't have a Searcher in the end phase.
Let's see.
Is Angeloff thinking?
We're not sure if Burns is thinking about it. He's looking at his grave because we're not. He may use a Fog Blade.
Yeah.
And he's going to use Fog Blade to special out Gloves. He's normal summon the.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a pretty rough opening for Burns, but he's making the most of it. So.
And from here, I believe he's going to go ahead and make the second Dante, or he could possibly go ahead and start trying to get rid of some back row.
He may make a the blue layer or a break sword here. Just try to. It depends on how nervous he is about that back row. So.
I would be if it was set 3.
Yeah.
I think here you could go for the blue guy, the Grand Pulse, and just start knocking out back
Dante.
row.
Because he's got a lot of Burning Abyss cards in his graveyard, so Dante, it's gonna be a floater at the end of the day.
Desires, a Calcab, and a
Well, there you go. Gets rid of one of the back rows. There you go, right there. I think that was a Fog Blade. Did he bounce? I can't tell.
He shuffles too much, and
This is gonna be 5,000. Yeah.
So it's gonna drop Angelov down to 3,000, which is good for Burns. I think now that he's put a little more pressure on Angelov, and he's going to remove the gloves here. With Angelov being at 3,000, I think now Angelov's got to start taking out some of Burns' advantage here.
Yeah.
He's going to add the Fog Blade, so Angelov will know what one of the sets will be if Burns chooses to set.
But you should. At this point.
Yes. Take as much advantage as you can. So he sets the Fog Blade, and Angelov's going to draw.
Maxi, was it? Couldn't tell.
Yes. I'm not quite sure what Angelov has in his hand. I know he's got a trap from where it was bounced with Calcab. I think I saw a Maxi. So he's
just going to set the Seer here.
Yes. And who knows, maybe Cody Burns has got his own way of stopping Seer. Because if so, then all he would have to do is make a Beatrice and send a Barbar.
Yeah.
So Dante's going to use the mill 3 as a Graph, Flying Sea, and Vanity's Emptiness.
So he's milled one good card so far.
And that was one of his side deck cards too. What we saw was Flying Sea. Flying Sea's really good.
Yeah, it makes your opponent have to waste their fog blades and their farfas on the. I mean, it's not too difficult to get around, but in the long grindy games, there's a Solemn Strike
for the graph. I think Burns is perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
So it's going to drop Angelov down to
very
15.
low amount of life, and if Burns plays Nightmare Shark,
which he should, most
Angelov is just in the danger zone.
Unless,
well, he does have the Fog Blade.
Yes. So he's still got to play around the Fog Blade. And from here, if I was Burns, I can't remember what was in, and yeah, he's gonna. I believe they're both at 1,000, or one's 25, another's 1,000.
Yes, I believe so. Now he's trying to remember Seer's defense. It's 1,200, I believe.
Yes.
So Burns will take 200.
Correct.
So we know that Burns does not have a Solemn Strike set, because take it back.
He had the one, and so from here he knew that he was going to bring out Skarm.
Well, going back and thinking about it, that may have been even the correct play, because especially if he knew that was the Seer, he gets his Dante in defense mode and he takes less damage this way.
And here comes Angelov's turn with a Pot of Desires. And let's see what Angelov draws off of this Desires. He may get to look and see what he had.
Banished a Maxi, a Cloak, some spells,
and like one or two traps. And I believe that's a Graph and a Foolish.
So he draws a... He still has the Tour Guide in hand, too. That's,
yeah.
Graph.
And from here, I think he's going to try to make the Break Sword, correct?
Yep, just to bait out as much back row as he can.
Mm-hmm.
And he may target the Unknown simply because he knows the one on Burns' right is the Fog Blade.
Correct.
But we'll see.
And
of course, it may both be Fog Blades.
Which that's still a win-win for Angelov.
Oh yeah.
If he's going to target the Unknown.
Yeah.
And I think
he detached the Graph, or no? Yeah, he did.
He detached the graph, and now we're going to see if and I see Ghost Reaper and
enemy controller.
Ooh,
that is pretty good. I like that.
So he'll get the pop, and
it was a strike. Yeah.
So from here, I think Angelov can make a Beatrice off of Burns' Dante, and he'll get to keep it.
Absolutely.
That
was a really good play, and because the Graph was in the graveyard, he'll just get to special summon
BA for essentially free.
Yeah. I wonder if he sided that, or if he. I imagine he would side it for the mirror match because, like you mentioned, being able to steal opposing Dante's
or even opponent's Beatrice. And here comes Barbar.
Because you used to see that trick with Downer Magician, but now with Beatrice, but he cherries him.
He's gonna probably cherry the Beatrice.
Yeah.
Good play by Burns.
So now the best thing Angelov can do is, if he makes another Dante, to make F-Zero, just to make sure Burns does not get that Dante back.
Which, he's just going to return it back to him.
Because the problem is that Angelov is sitting at such a low amount of life, but he does still have the Fog Blade, so we got to keep that in mind.
And I can't remember what Barbar's defense is 12, isn't it? And Angelov did pitch a Skarn to grab Farfa. The previous turn. Let's see what Burns decides to do here. I feel like Burns is kind of in that position in the game where his next move could determine if we get to go to game 3 or not.
Yeah.
So he's going to make a Beatrice, use Seer's effect.
Does he have a Dante in there?
I don't.
Or he has a Farfa.
Yes, that's what he needed.
And so that'll banish the Barbar.
Correct. And then from here, if Burns had a way just to normal summon a monster, he could possibly deal damage for game.
Well, it couldn't be a Burning Abyss because that would have it die from Beatrice.
So he's gonna
Fog Blade the Beatrice.
double
fog blade.
So no damage is being taken.
Yeah.
So Angelov's holding on.
And Angelov still has that tour guide in hand. So if Burns does not have a way to deal with that, that could be problematic.
And Barbar returns, so he can't really bring out the tour guide here. But
That's true.
He can normal summon a BA monster.
Mm-hmm.
Make what would he make in this situation? Because I don't know how many
tough
Dantes
call.
he's got left.
He should have one left.
If he does, he could use it, mill 3, and then use Barbar and run over the Dante. Then he could trigger Fog Blade's effect if he has a target left.
Yeah.
We're patiently waiting to see what he decides to do. Getting some messages from our live stream people who are watching us tonight. Giving a little shout out to a buddy of ours named Zach Mott, who says that we sound country. Well, this is Alabama, Mott. What else would you expect? Also, one of our local guys who we last broadcast is now back from being in the hospital. So we'd like to say welcome back to Michael Lonis.
Hopefully we'll get to see him
And
later
hopefully-
on in the tournament.
Hopefully, we were going to try to get him round 1, but there was just this match we
Yeah,
could
we
not
can pass
pass
this
up.
up. Yeah.
We have 20 to 21 players here tonight, so you'll get a good variety of players playing multiple decks until we get closer to our later rounds where we start doing the top tables.
And you'll probably have a feeling you may see one of these guys undefeated at the end of the night. We'll see. Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, it's interesting because I think whoever wins this, we have another guy who plays Metal Foes. He got 6 at the regional, and Angelov did mill 3 for Dante. Ooh.
Strike.
Rhoda, Strike.
Rhoda, no, Desires. I
Yes. And he's going to add the...
believe. For Barbar.
Yep.
Banishing 2, so deal 600 to Burns.
Yep, it's going to put him at 57. Some of y'all may know him. His name is Zach Fox. He's one of our more skilled players here as well, along with Cody Burns and Angelov.
And Zach is the type of player that really likes to experiment with different decks. He doesn't limit himself. And that Beatrice is fog bladed, so
I think he can send for cost.
Well, he can detach for cost, but he shouldn't be able to send for cost because that's the whole effect. Is it not?
We can.
And obviously detach for cost. I understand that the Dante, but unless I'm mistaken, I don't think he'd be able to
checking the card text on Beatrice.
send that.
Once returned during another player's turn, you can detach 1. The semicolon, send 1.
Because the detach is a cost.
The detach is a cost,
so
so
the rest of the effect, which is surprising because Angelov. I mean, must have just missed that, but surprising that both of these guys missed it.
Yes, that's something that we'll get tended to before the next round is, so we won't have that same mistake again.
So let's see. Is Burns going to be able to go for a Nightmare Shark here? Does he have 2 Phantom Knights?
I can't tell. There's the boots, and from here, yep,
Yeah.
double boots.
So if I can almost guarantee that he's about to make that Nightmare Shark play.
I would hope so. As much as Cody Burns has played BA, he's making a break sword.
Oh, he may not have it.
He's going to go ahead and pop the Dante, and they'll go to game 3.
Yeah. I mean, both of those got the job done, but
Which he should. This game should be going on because both Fog Blades were on the Beatrice and the Dante.
yeah.
I don't know if we had
So
missed.
he wouldn't be able to send with Beatrice.
Correct, and
But-
I'm not quite sure if we missed anything. If there was something that happened that we missed.
Yeah.
But
I will say, sorry to interrupt.
no, just in my opinion, we would still be in game 2 if this
Yeah.
was if we had more judges roaming the matches. We've got one judge here tonight.
And with 20 players, he's clearly
It's just hard to keep up, and we can't keep one judge at the live stream table. So
But now that I've looked back, I do believe that even if he had the Nightmare Shark, I think the Break Sword would be the correct play because he knows Angelov plays the Ghost Ogre. So if he Ghost Ogres the Nightmare Shark, then that's kind of all he can do for the rest of the turn. But if he Ghost Ogres the Break Sword, then he's still able to get his summons. So
yes, and there he would still get the pop because the Ghost Ogre doesn't stop it.
Correct.
So he would still get the pop to
Correct.
Dante. And so yes, looking back, the break sword would be the.
Even if he had the Nightmare Shark, which I don't think it didn't look like he did have it.
I thought I saw it in his extra deck before the tournament, but I could be wrong.
So.
Um,
So here we go, Game 3. It doesn't surprise me that both of these players made it to Game 3. It's not very often that either one of these guys just gets blown out 2-0.
Yu-Gi-Oh players, that is time in the round.
and as you possibly hear, we are going into time, and so with that, we'll be going through our end of match procedure, which I believe is 5 turns for. Or no, 3. It's 3 turns for our local crowd. 5 if we were doing a regional, OTS,
YCS.
So he's letting Angelov go first. This will be turn 0. So it was a Seer and a Skarm.
How unfortunate for Angelo that time was called literally right
And
before.
Cloak, Boots, and Foolish. And I believe I see a copy of Book of Eclipse in Angelov's hand.
Is that Emptiness as well?
Emptiness, yeah. And he's going to get rid of the Boots to grab a Fog Blade. And so from here, we don't really have a way to keep up. And he sets 3, so one of them's a Book of Eclipse. We believe another one's an Emptiness and a Fog Blade.
So Burns will be turn
one. I don't have time to make a time counter here, so we'll just keep up with here. So Cody Burns on the right is turn 1, and he will also get turn 3 if that is necessary. So really, I can see both players kind of stalling, and not really stalling, but kind of playing it to where we get into sudden death, and one of them just bars.
Yeah.
Which I think Burns may choose to try to beat him before that.
Yeah, Angelov kind of
Reveal Farfa to special. And here comes Angelov looking at his back row, double checking.
He's got Fog Blade, Eclipse, and I believe an Emptiness. I think that's the third card. I'm not 100% sure, but we do know of the Fog Blade and the Eclipse.
Correct. And here comes the Eclipse.
Yeah.
So right here is going to put
So,
Cody Burns on hold. I believe Burns is going to set the Fog Blade here.
And that is very unfortunate for Cody Burns here because the only, I guess if he had a Boots and another Phantom Knight, he could continue making plays. But other than that, he's not able to summon any more BA monsters.
Which I believe he's just going to set
But
one.
he is able to set a monster potentially if he to protect himself from damage maybe.
But here we know he revealed the Farfa.
I think he had another Farfa.
And he'll get to draw one. Keep him on
That is true.
Book of Eclipse.
During the end phase, yeah.
So it's going to give Burns an extra card in hand, which is just going to replace the Fog Blade. So he does get the draw, and Angelov...
He just draws an Emptiness, unfortunately. Then too bad that couldn't be, too bad that wasn't,
And
earlier.
Angelov
Wow,
is...
Cow Cab, that is brutal.
And so there goes the Fog Blade.
So, the Fog Blade's already been baited out.
Yep. Just going to put Skarm in attack.
Yeah.
So Angelov is turn 2, so this will be his last turn. So I could see Angelov here just, if he's got a graph in hand, or a way to get to it, he could possibly go ahead and just do the bar damage, just to put pressure on Burns. He's going to summon Gloves.
Skarm will die.
Yep, getting him a search to the end phase, summoning Boots. Overlaying here. He could possibly even make Nightmare Shark and just tell Burns to try to deal 2,000.
Yeah.
It's just going to depend on how Angelov wants to approach this. Because he's got to deal with... He doesn't really want to deal with Farfa, because it's just going to get rid of it. And I believe he may...
Nightmare Shark is what he's looking at.
Because the Nightmare Shark. Because if we believe that Angelov's got the vanities, all he has to do is really flip it, and that's it.
Yeah, unless Burns has the Twisters or a board wipe or something.
Correct.
And that would probably be game.
So there's the 2,000. So now it'll be Cody Burns at 6,000.
And he's also got a Beatrice on top of that. Yikes.
Which I
So
think,
a Beatrice, a Fogblade, two Fogblades, excuse me,
yeah, this is not looking.
and a 2,000 lead. That may be all she wrote.
And there's no Beatrice on board yet,
Is he-
but we could see it.
I'm pretty sure. I could have sworn he had another BA. He may not.
So
I guess not.
this is turn 3. This is
Stand corrected.
Cody Burns' last turn, unless he can deal 2,000 damage at least to keep this game going into sudden death.
Yeah.
With Angelov having 3 back rows, unless he's got a Twin Twister, this may be a little more difficult to overcome.
We know that 2 of those are definitely Fogblades.
And this is going to be one of the hard boards that Cody Burns will have to get over here at Locals tonight. Angelov, again, a little more experienced. He's been playing since he was probably in his 14. Because I remember coming here when I was 16. So it's been a long time to see both these players grow, become better players. So
Plus, with that Fogblade, Burns isn't able to special summon any of his Burning Abyss monsters, which is unfortunate.
and here he's kind of trying to figure out what to do because he could possibly go Calcab here. I believe I saw that in hand. He's also got gloves.
The best case scenario for Burns, obviously, would be a Regeki or a Dark Hole here, because he would get rid of his own Fogblade, and he would get rid of the 2 monsters on board. But I don't think he has either one of those, unfortunately.
And so here, Burns is really contemplating his decision.
Yeah, it's the last turn of the game. You just want to make sure you don't miss something obvious
So he's
And
going to
there's
normal
the
summon
Skarm.
Skarm. He's going to overlay
immediately.
into
For
Dante, and here comes
and there's
Book
another
of
Book of
Eclipse.
Eclipse. Yeah, that should be
Yep.
game. Yep.
And Angelov here wins round 1.
So you open 2 Book of Eclipse. Interesting.
That may have been what I saw instead of, or what we saw instead of the emptiness here.
Yeah.
That was round 1 here at the Crimson Castle. We will be having 5 rounds tonight, so please stay tuned. And here's a word from our sponsors. All right, welcome back to round two. Here tonight, we have got Zach Fox, who we just mentioned in our round one match against the two Burning Abyss players, against Jared Hutchins, a good friend of ours. He's trying out Metal Foes tonight. He wanted to play something a little different than Burning Abyss and wanted to see what Metal Foes was all about. I believe Zach is also playing Metal Foes.
Yes, should be.
Zach here got sixth at the Tuscaloosa Regionals.
With the same deck. if I'm
With
not
the same
mistaken.
deck. And so, and we have another mirror match. So, from here, if you were either one of these players on the dice roll, who would you want to go first and try to set up the Tzolk'in play, or would you want to go second so you can possibly make a bigger push?
Well, I think Zach and I play this deck a little differently than most people. Unless he's changed his build, he does play hand traps. And Metal Foes is a deck that can play going first or second, but typically I'd like to go first. The potential of getting out Kieran and Tzolk'in is just too strong, or a Jowgen. But you really can't go wrong either way. It just kind of depends on what's in your hand. But it looks like Zach,
Painful decision. And I also saw a Jowgen in hand too, which
it's
is
a pretty good setup.
he's going to go ahead and grab the level 3, which means that he'll probably either put it in scale or he may just hang on to it. And I couldn't tell if he had a Gofu. I think he's got the 2 scales. The
Is that a
8.
Kieran?
Ooh, nope, he's going to shotgun to the Desires.
10.
And he'll draw 2. Another Painful and a Gofu. Ooh, I believe.
Now, is that Painful Decision live? That's the big question.
No,
We're about to find out.
you can only activate it once per turn.
Well, I just meant, like, I didn't know if he banished all of his applicable targets.
And Gofu, he'll get 2 tokens.
Yeah.
And here, I believe Zach's going to make Tzolk'in.
Yeah, he should be. With as many cards as he has in his hand, he should have the resources.
Well, he's got the one he just searched off of Painful, and he's got the level 8. Or
level 2.
the scale 8, excuse me. Here he's going to set the fusion. He'll probably go ahead and just Metal Foes fusion, unless he wants to normal summon, which he will. He wants to keep his 1 skill.
Because
alive.
he probably just doesn't have a better normal summon in hand. Especially since he's already drawn off the Desires.
Correct.
The chances of him drawing like a
And here comes
Raccoon off
the shuffle.
fusion is pretty low.
And here he may be just trying to get to a 1 scale so that he can Pendulum summon out the Jowgen. So he's going to make Tzolk'in here. In which we saw this a lot the other night. And I saw it several times at the regional. He's going to set the emptiness and use Tzolk'in, probably to bring out Crystal Wing,
Probably the safest
or
play.
start a Spark.
Oh, that's true.
He's got emptiness face now, I forgot. So
Plus, he's also... he doesn't have a pendulum skill, unfortunately.
No.
Because he's also playing on the fact that Jared plays Jowgen. So, baiting out your Crystal Wing that early on a Jowgen would be not something you necessarily want to do. Whereas at least...
And now we're going to see what Hutch can do. Which, this is a pretty strong board.
He drew Archfiend Eccentric, though, so it's definitely going to help him deal with that emptiness. Or at least bait out the...
He's going to flip it, chain it. And this is, ooh. And see here, I think Hutch can just summon Jowgen.
Exactly.
Deal with the board.
Mm-hmm.
Which
The emptiness will still stay, but that's also going to hurt Zach, too. Well, he can pop it next turn with the scale.
Here's the thing. He could do that, or he could just play a Painful and just take it out. It's just going to depend on how... excuse me, we've got some messages coming in tonight. It's just going to depend on how Zach wants to approach this as well. And here comes the Painful Decision.
Yeah, but unfortunate that Zach was not able to get to the low scale for sure.
If he would have gotten to the low scale, he could have brought out the Jowgen and not had to have used the emptiness.
Yeah.
Here recently, a lot of players here really hyped up about Metal Foes. And they've been playing certain cards in them. Some have been playing some of them I've seen play Odd Eyes. Some of them I've seen Magic Specters.
Now, interesting that he would, if he plans on using Jowgen, why he wouldn't set the painful decision first, because Jowgen is a random card. You got to keep that in mind.
You're not wrong, but I think Hutch may try to. I hope that's a normal summon. He wants to pitch the Aether.
Okay. So either way, it'll accomplish what he wants.
He wants to keep a scale, and yep, and there goes all of that. And Emptiness, I don't believe is going to save it. And from here, I think Zach's trying to figure out what he wants to do from. And Hutch will pendulum out the Archfiend Eccentric just to protect his board.
Yeah.
And Zach draws return.
What did he? Did he pop the Jowgen?
I think so, yeah.
Or what did he set?
Counter.
That's right. And
So he's going to normal Bambuku, put Kieran in the scale to pop it to get a free search. Which means Zach is trying.
Is that a Solemn Strike that Hutch has set?
Possibly. Jared Hutchins
really
does not have desires, so he may have teched those in. So Zach's going to get to a 1 scale, which will bring out the Kieran. Now, if Hutch strikes here, that's going to be
pretty devastating.
Really bad for Zach.
The only problem is that Hutch really doesn't have much of a follow play, because I believe his extra deck is empty right now. We'll see.
So the Pendulum for 3.
And warning. Accomplishes the same thing here, but it's pretty rough for Zach. Losing his Kieran.
Losing his Kieran early.
Yeah. Also a Jowgen as well, and I believe his extra deck is empty too.
You're correct, because the silver is somewhere.
And Zach not wanting to give Jared a free summon off his counter, so.
Well, from here,
but he can just pop it now anyway, so it really wouldn't matter all that
set
much.
of counter and then activate the other counter. Bring out a Volflame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And see, we've been seeing a lot of mirror matches here tonight. On stream, round 1, you saw PK Fire mirror match. Round 2, you're seeing Metal
Can we tell what Jared drew? Sorry to interrupt. Can we see what Jared drew?
I couldn't tell, but we'll probably see it in just a second.
Some kind of
Upstart. So Zach's going to go to 9,000.
Wow.
Bambuku.
That is a heck of a draw of Upstart. That may have been the best thing he could have drawn, actually.
He got to Kieran, which will be able to pendulum summon the Archfiend Eccentric too, and be able to bring out the Kieran, which is going to be really helpful. I'm not quite sure if Hutch plays Totem Bird, which even though he can't make it right now, but in the next turn, if he plays this right, he can bounce. But I do hope he does. Yes, he does decide to crash or do 700 and then do that. Which, if that's the case, Hutch could just bounce it.
That's true.
It's
and get 3,600 more damage in.
Correct. And this, as you see, I believe he takes
36, the 24. Or no, yeah, because he attacked with Kieran over the Bambuku, so that'd be 800.
Yep.
And then be 44 total.
So he takes 44 total? Well,
Yes.
you have to remember too. Oh yeah, he bounced. Okay, so 44, so it's going to put him at 46.
Yes.
And see here, Zach's in a good situation because he can use the stealing to pop the Gold Driver.
True. But the problem is how is he going to deal with Kieran? I can't tell what's in his hand, but that's going to be a problem.
Well, if you remember, he's got counter engraved, so he can banish it to add a Gold Driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a Twin Twister.
Is that a Rescue Rabbit?
It is a Rescue Rabbit, so he can bring out something just to get free pops.
That's true. That's true.
I believe I do see a Twin Twister in hand. This is not a good... And also, if Zach can do it right... Okay, so he is going to go for that. And then, as what we were saying, he got the counter, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He can... Or, nope, he's going for fusion. So, he's going to probably use counter, bring out the... Whatchamacallit? Bring back the silver.
Yeah.
And then use Silver's effect to grab a counter. And then put his other Gold Driver from his hand into the Pendulum Zone.
Or it looks Looks like he's just gonna outright pendulum summon everything.
Which I think in a way, he should, because he'll get a Bambuku search, which could help him make the Totem Bird.
Yeah.
And right now, he's still got a normal summon, so right now he's trying to figure out, excuse me, if he wants to go ahead and bounce with Kieran now.
I'd probably wait.
I would. But we have seen a lot crazier things.
That is true. That is true.
So we're hitting every aspect of this game.
Because obviously at this point, the best thing to bounce would be the Rescue Rabbit, and if he does, he can simply just normal summon it right back.
So right here, I would wait on the Kieran just to see what's going on.
Yeah. Force Zach, because you do have a counter set, and Zach may be making a Break Sword or a Totem Bird here to force out the Kieran.
I think he's going to make Totem. Yep.
Yeah.
He's going to make Totem to try to... Oh, no. Maybe Break Sword? Break Sword.
I think Break Sword is the correct play, because he can pop his Fusion to get a draw this way.
Correct. But if I was Zach, what would you'd go after the back row?
Well, yeah, because Totem Bird essentially would do the same thing. So with having 100 more attack, I mean, it's not super relevant, but it can also threaten to suicide into Kieran.
You're not wrong.
Whereas Totem Bird falls short. So either way, this Break Sword will force the Kieran to use its effect.
And I also want you to keep this in mind.
Oh, he's targeting the scale.
Which is smart. That's something I was fixing to actually bring up. With Zach could probably get over the board.
Mm-hmm. And do we know that Zach has Twin Twister?
Yes.
Okay.
He has a Twin Twister in hand.
Yeah, then that definitely makes sense.
And so Hudge is going to activate the counter from his hand, which will more than likely bring out... We're not sure.
But
I think he's going to go for a scale 1, though.
Yeah. My only problem with what Jared's doing right here is that, I feel like he should have used Kieran's effect on the summon of Break Sword, because what's going to happen is he's just going to attack with the Break Sword into Kieran anyway.
Well,
but I'm not really sure how much of a deal that is, though, because he's going to be able to pendulum summon it right back.
Well, here's another thing, too, you have to think about. Zach here, he has the Rescue Rabbit.
Yeah, but the thing is that you've used a painful decision on your 3, you've used a painful decision on your 4.
But he could just he could overlay with the Gold Driver on board.
He could, but
make a Utopia Lightning.
Yeah, but at that point, what is that really? You know what I'm saying? I think the 3,000 damage is hefty, but you still got plenty of beef on board at that point. And plus, you've got a Bambuku later, and I don't think it's too crucial, but I think at this point, instead of losing your scales, force them to use the Twin Twister on both of your scales and then recover with counter, as opposed to use the counter then get Twin Twister, if that makes sense. Because in my opinion, I think that keeping the card, or keeping a scale, or no, he does have 2 level 2s left in deck. So he can make Sky Cavalry here.
If he still runs it. And here, it still wouldn't be that good of a play just because of Kieran.
That's true.
Here, he may just use both of the Metal Foes monsters into Pendulum Zone, if he hasn't already, return, or bounce, or pop 2, search.
He also may make a fusion play here just to have another body, but I'm not sure if that's the...
He still has 1 pop left from the Gold Driver. So I think you're right, he'll grab the fusion.
And it looks like Zayaz actually scooping, because the problem is that I don't think he did have the Twin Twisters.
Zach had Twin Twister in hand.
Then it's a 1... Well, I guess, that's right, because Jared did have both counters in Graveyard. That's probably why.
Yep.
Now that I think about it.
So we're going off the basis that Jared Hutchins won Game 1.
Yeah.
Which, here, I think if you're both players, you're going to be putting in good, hefty side deck cards. Mostly stuff like Strikes, if you have them in the side deck.
A card that I'm glad I see Jared have it. A card that I love in the mirror match is Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Yes.
Because, it obviously shuts down your opponent's plays, and you can obviously just switch it off whenever you need to with your... you can set your scales beforehand and then flip it.
Yes.
And then you just pop it whenever you need to go off.
And also, there's another card, and I'm not sure which one of these players is playing it. It's called Pendulum Hole. That card is really good in the mirror match, just because it just shuffles everything back, and so you're making your opponent waste a resource to get back the monsters they just got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a counter trap too, I believe.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you like to run Ariadne, you can search for it.
How do you feel about Ariadne and Metal Foes? I've seen some people play it, but a lot of the players around here just stick to the Magispector engine and the Gofus.
It can get cloggy at times. I've tested it some. The biggest problem I would get is if I had an Ariadne and nothing to pop with it. It's just kind of like a dead 3.
Yeah.
Plus, if you have an Ariadne scale, you can't bring out stealing, which isn't that big of an issue.
Or Silver, either.
Yep, you're correct. It just locks you out of certain plays, and it's only really good if you get the luster.
Yes.
If you get luster,
Yeah, then it's a whole new ball game. But
correct.
of course, you have to open it. Luster is a one of, and I haven't seen now at a regional last month. I did play someone who was playing a Draco Slayer engine, but I didn't like that engine. I think it just contributes to more brick hands.
I will
in my
say
opinion.
though, if you do decide to go with it, I'd probably still play Vector. Vector is probably one of the best cards in the mirror match. If you can establish a board and then just put a Vector in the mirror match.
Absolutely.
Now I wouldn't just go out and say, "Hey, go side deck 2 or 3 copies of Vectors and hope you draw."
Yeah,
one.
but it is one of those things that having the fringe benefit of
If you're playing the
you play
Draco
the
engine,
yes.
And here we go, starting game 2, and I believe Zach's going to start with set 4.
Oh wow. Now, if those are just Metal Foes cards, then he's in trouble. But if he has a Floodgate or a Solemn, then he's in business. Now the problem here is if you're Hutch, blind MSTing or blind Archfiending a set is not really that good, because if you hit
Okay, so he's choosing not to. He's
chooses
just
not
putting
to.
it in the scale.
Smart. Because there's so many things you could hit as far as a combination or a counter, and it really would help Zach more than it would help Jared in all
And
reality.
Hutch is going ahead and getting to the Kieran.
Absolutely.
Which I think if you get to the Kieran first in the mirror match, I think you have a greater
Yeah,
chance of winning.
it puts you way ahead.
And here comes Painful, which I think here he's going to go for the 1 scale, just so that he can, with the Archfiend already there.
Establish the scales.
Correct.
Now, if you're Jared, how do you approach the situation? He grabs the high scale,
Which he may have the low scale
Yeah,
in
he
hand.
may.
Here, I'd probably go ahead and Archfiend pop.
Yeah.
Um,
Simply because, I mean, you
can't-
definitely don't want to lose your Kieran to a strike this early.
or Warning.
Yeah, because we saw what that did to Zach. And now, you got to remember, Zach does not have... He's going to be working with 2 cards next turn, so he's not necessarily going to be in a position to make him pay for it.
But those 2
But-
cards could be...
That's true. It could be Desires, and so...
So he could probably go ahead and use Stealing to pop the Bambuku. Oh,
Ooh, interesting.
me personally, I feel like that's a misplay.
I feel like Jared's just calling Zach's bluff and saying, you know what, I think all you have set are combinations and fusions and counters. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he just swings with Bambuku, gets his 1200 in, and then maybe Pendulum summons,
And here comes
1.
Strike.
Or Pendulum summons 2.
Uh,
Now that is something I do disagree with. I think I actually probably would have just Pendulum summoned the Kieran, because you know that if he's got a Striker Warning, he's going to use it. So there's no reason to give up the extra monster.
wrong player. I am sorry.
It looks like Jared's going to retaliate with his 3 sets, so... Yeah, Zach's looking a little frustrated here.
So from here, Zach has Aether and a Kieran.
In hand, and no way to get either one of those out. It's unfortunate.
But Zach did get to a strike, so it took Hutch out of getting to a Kieran. I believe he's going to
believe
counter.
Subtract 1200 more from
He
Zach
yes,
for the Buku attack.
correct. So it's going to put him at 53.
Now he's going to summon. This may be game here if he summons 2 Volt Flames and Zach doesn't have an
I believe-
answer.
Ooh.
Because he popped his own scale, so unless Zach's playing Mirror Force or something,
Quaking
or
or something.
Book of Eclipse could be an option. I'm not really sure what. Yeah, Zach's
And that was game.
just like that.
Just bad hands and Metal Foes could really cost you.
Let's see if we can tell it was a counter, a fusion, and a side deck card. Maybe
yes.
another strike.
Probably. And I
So-
don't think he wanted to waste it.
Well, he wouldn't waste
really
it.
He really couldn't because of it was brought up by counters.
Exactly, so.
He didn't really have a choice in that decision. Tune in. We'll be taking a short intermission. We will probably try to get another match on stream for round 2. We'll still be in round 2. We may just pull another match up. So just stay tuned and
See you shortly.
yep. Alright, and welcome back to round two. You'll be catching a game three from two of our local players, both from around here.
I think
Oscar, who you saw last week, he was playing the Burning Abyss Hieratic.
and Devin was playing Fluffles last week too.
And
So
Devin is still playing
I
Fluffles.
think they're both playing the same deck. It looks like.
Correct. And I've got the deck list from Ozzy's deck, which will really help us in this feature match too. Some key notes. He from his build, he was playing 3 Allures. He took out one and put a Rise to full height. And his extra deck, he took out to Zulkin for a Cyframe Lord Omega. And here we see Devin set 2 in his turn with Ozzy luring away Farfa. And so here we don't quite know how to commentate this. I know that seems really unprofessional, but we're not quite sure what we'll expect out of Ozzy.
He's revealing to summon a Skarm, and that's met with Max C. So the big thing is against Fluffles, how scared of you really are those two back? Are those two backers really all that scary to you? How far do you push in? Is the question.
Well, he just revealed again.
The 2 draws, so Oscar's clearly not scared of whatever Devin has set.
Honestly, I wouldn't be, because it's Fluffles. They're more of an OTK deck, and they need to get their OTK cards. So from here you see a Regeki, a Seal, and a Labyrinth
Not
Dragon.
good mills.
Not good meals. It could be a whole lot better for him, and he's going to tribute it all for the Tef. And then he's going to trigger Dante and Skarm, and he's going to bring back the Skarm. Surprised he wouldn't bring back Farfa. He's going to tribute that for Sue. And I think Ozzy's just going to take the Max C challenge here.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the part where I think he's going to pitch to destroy, which could be a toy vendor. Keep that in mind. That's something that we've seen him do. Okay, so it's Twin Twister. Ozzy may have game here. If he
I think
plays,
he does.
If he plays this right. Ozzy have a target? He's going to bring up a
Labrador. Yeah, that he milled, yeah. And
so-
Devin's drawing all these cards, but unless there's a Battle Fader or some kind of...
There's not any stoppage.
I didn't know if he decided to do something crazy. Devin is pretty innovative with cards like that. So
He
you
is.
never
Both
know.
these players are really innovative. Devin can really play meta decks extraordinarily well, but he chooses to play the more not so obvious decks, just so that it challenges him. He likes to always put up a challenge when it comes to deck building and making decks work. Ozzy brings out the Beatrice.
What would you say? Well, we know that he plays those Fabled. He
That
plays
Fabled
the Malicious. He plays...
Here, I'd probably send the Fabled monster, or like you said, a Malicious
Yeah, you can't really go wrong.
with either one. So he's gonna
Oh,
send
the Plague Spreader.
I wonder if he's got a Malicious in hand.
He may.
And I believe that's an Ulti Plague.
Yep.
Look at Ozzy. He's blinging his deck out.
How many cards has Devin drawn, I wonder? I have lost count at this point.
I think I've seen 7. So here he's going to make Cyframe Lord Omega.
Interesting choice.
I think he's just trying to show off now.
Yeah. But unless I'm missing something, where is that extra damage going to come from? Because if this is all that he can put on board, then Devin will probably be able to have, unless he's got an emptiness or something crazy like that. Devin
So
will
he's
have
going to
game.
take
56.
Yes.
Or excuse me, 55. No, 25. This 53. My bad.
Yes. So it's going to put him at 37, 38,
27.
27. Excuse me. Keep in mind too, he is going to bring back a card from the remove from play.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm not sure how much that's going to do.
I think Devin's got game
Yeah,
because he's got Dark Hole in
with
hand.
with as many cards as he has, and the way Fluffles can easily OTK with 3 or 4 cards, let alone
Unless
9.
Yeah, I think he's got. I think Ozzy kind of.
I think he may have. I think he was so eager to play that he may have. Unless he sends something with Beatrice that could stop. Oh, we could send Rise to Full Heights potentially.
You're correct.
That's what he's thinking. Okay.
Um,
I'm not sure if I'd let him Devin draw that many cards though. But
Well, the thing that you have to keep in mind too, this has to be activated during the standby phase
yeah,
or main or because when he proceeds to enter main phase 1, it priority passes over to Devin. And so with that, he won't be able to activate Ciphering Lord first off, or really Devin's just going to keep priority. So he could have Dark Hold, and then they could have chained it.
the best way to, I mean, obviously he wouldn't still be able to attack with Rise to Full Heights being activated, but the best situation Dev could do to get out of this is summon a Kaiju on top of the Omega.
Well, we saw the Dark Hold. We saw that in hand. So
That was expected. So he's
he'll
going to chain Omega.
Chain Omega out of his 9 cards in his hand, for what it seems like. More than
More
9?
than that.
11? And then he's going to change Rise to Full Heights.
Yeah, so he won't be able to attack, but Devin's going to be able to make a pretty spooky board.
Pretty spooky. And keep in mind, folks, this is game 3. So whoever wins this will be undefeated going into round 2. Or round 3, excuse me.
Does he have anything to summon up Beatrice? Oh yeah, he's a Pilgrim.
He does run the 1 Pilgrim for the Beatrice.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if he has a Farfa or something like that to disrupt any amount of plays, but I'm not sure how much it'll matter with...
And here comes Toy Vendor.
Yeah, to let him
Pitch-
draw more cards.
Pitch Wings, the draw 1. Ooh, the Chain. Chain's going to allow him to search for a Fright for a card.
It's about to get a little silly here, folks.
And this is what we've been talking about before. Devin really puts a lot of time into his Fluffle deck. He's going to pitch Bear to grab Polly. Or set a Toy Vendor, excuse me. It's Owl the one that gets to search for Polly. So he's going to set the Toy Vendor here. And I think he's going to activate Wings to pitch a Toy Vendor to draw. Yep. He's going to use Wings, banish the... He's going to banish the Bear, get rid of the Toy Vendor, and draw 2. He drew a Glow-Up Bulb.
And another spell, I think.
Correct. And then he'll get Toy Vendor's effect to add a dog. And there's so many combos with this deck, it's kind of hard to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
What all use its effects and so forth.
They're just gaining more and more and more advantage.
I wonder what... I think Devin may be trying to look for a Regeki here. Is the reason why he keeps drawing and drawing. Because if he can't get over Pilgrim, he doesn't really... He can do anything. Because his 1-for-1... Ooh. I wonder if he's got a 1-for-1 target. Because he's got Glow Up in his hand.
Well, you can summon it from your hand.
You're
too.
correct. I forgot about that. I'm so used to summoning from the deck.
Well, of course, I'm sure that's what Devin wanted to do too, but in this situation.
And here he can make Nat Beast, which isn't... It's pretty strong against his deck. But he needs to be able to
Yeah, I'm not.
get over Pilgrim. That's the reason why I think he was looking for Regeki off those draws.
Yeah. Does he play Trishula? Well, I was trying to think if there's another way, because he has Instant Fusion, so if he played Trishula, he could summon the Norden, he'd get rid of it that way, but
He could.
I'm not sure if he plays it.
I'm not quite sure, but he is gonna lure. Which I'm telling you, I think he's looking for Regeki.
I believe you, I think he is too.
So he's gonna get rid
Banishing
of
the chain, or the saber, excuse me.
Which, yeah, he's got an Instant Fusion, which that may be his other option, is to, like you said, make Trish.
I'm just not sure, because he was fanning through his extra deck, and it didn't look like there was too many synchros there, so...
The only one I saw for sure was Nat Beast.
Yes, we know he plays that for a fact, but... Yeah, I think that's the only synchro I saw.
Let's see.
And he can't declare an attack because of Rise to Full Heights' effect, so...
So he's gonna make Nat Beast here.
Yeah, you have to find a
And you have to keep in
non-card
mind, too, that the Ciphering Lord is coming back.
There's another beat stick.
Um,
And if he activates Instant Fusion, it'll bring him down to a 1700, which is pretty low. Pretty low. But Oscar only has 1 card in hand, I believe.
yes. Which, at any time, he could use the Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And I think Devin's got a Foolish? Yes.
So what would you send here?
Probably the Sabers. Or anything Fluffle related to try to get your Polys and your Fright for fusions going. Okay, so he does have the Regeki still in deck. So he's going to pitch Wings, and I think he's got a Toy Vendor set. Keep that in mind. So he could be trying to thin his deck.
Definitely thin.
The one card Devin doesn't want to see off the toy vendor is Regeki, because it'll get sent to the grave, and he won't get it. Right now, he's looking for any Frightfur monster that he can summon. Pitch King of the Swamps, he's thinning his deck, grabbing Poly. And see here, that's the one thing that Fluffles are really good at, it's just deck thin. Not to mention Maxi help.
Yeah, of course, drawing all those cards off Maxi definitely didn't hurt.
And he's got a Glow Up Bolt too that he can activate. So here comes Norden. Or, I totally forgot, he could bring out Sheep. He could bring out Sheep, but he could also bring out Norden. He can bring back Dog. I think he's going to go for a rank 4 play.
What would you make here?
Castell.
But he can't be targeted.
No, I don't. I agree. I don't really know what Devin's rank 4 plays
Yeah.
going to be here. It's
Abyss Dweller? Just a stun for a turn, I guess.
That's really what Devin's doing.
Devin's probably just going to wall up with a bunch of fusions and say, okay, well, I don't think you can kill... Oh, we got to subtract 1,000 for the Issa fusion.
You're correct.
So, I think that's Devin's overall game plan here, is just to wall up with as many monsters as possible and say, you know what, I'm just going to hope you can't kill me. Because with no graveyard effects being able to activate and only 2 cards in hand, then chances are he may be right, he may not be able to. So.
And he's going to use Edge Imp.
And any spells that he would use before battle phase will simply get negated by
Oh,
Abby's.
wow.
You gotta remember that too.
I totally forgot. He's got a combo going on right now. He's going to flip up Toy Vendor, use Toy Vendor's effect to pitch, and he's going to reveal Wings, and then he'll have a choice to special summon.
Oof, that's true.
And then he'll have a Poly target for Edge Imp. This turn's not over yet.
That's right.
And if Devin has to put enough damage on board here to make sure that when the Omega comes back, it won't make a difference.
That's the only problem, though, is that the Omega can just keep recycling that Heights card, so...
Well, even so...
How could Devin possibly... What's the best way Devin can work around that?
Well, you see, if he does pursue the Toy Vendor play, where he's got a wing stacked to the top. Okay, so he's gonna wait.
Yeah.
He's gonna wall. He's gonna grab his bear, and the Omega comes back. But the play I was thinking about was he could have really pushed this forward by being able to make the Sabertooth and bring out the Sheep, because Sheep will allow him to gain 800 attack for each time it's brought back. So he could in two attacks he could outbeat the Dante.
But you gotta remember, the first time he's gonna take 800 damage, and being at so low life, it's kind of risky.
You're not wrong, but Devin doesn't have anything to lose right now.
That's true. Like I said, the biggest problem is that Omega, because if he keeps recycling that return to full heights, he's not going to be able to declare any attacks.
You are not wrong. And
So-
this is just not a good position for Devin. I really wanted to see how well he was going to do in this match.
Well, like you mentioned, it's not over yet, and of course with all the resources he has, and he's got a wall of monsters, so we'll see what. And there's Dante
attacking
with the Abyss Dweller. And I imagine the Omega will kill the Nat Beast here.
Yes. So that Ozzy, if he has any seals, the Hieratic Convocation, he can play him. Yep, and there goes the Nat Beast. From here, I'm kind of curious because yes, he will bring back the Rise to Full Heights. But what else do you think Ozzy could do just to finally make it to where Devin just says, okay, I can't take anymore. You've got match.
Well, honestly, it may be right now, because even Regeki, like I said, unless he's got a Kaiju or like a Chalice maybe to prevent the Omega from being banished.
So he's gonna pitch Bear and grab Toy Vendor.
Yeah. So basically, he needs to find a way to get rid of the Omega either during the standby phase or make it so that he can't chain Omega to whatever he's using to destroy it, which is not easy. There's not many cards that can do that.
That, or if Devin could, and this is the slightest possibility, if Devin could OTK while the Omega's off board.
Well, that's the problem is with Rise to Full Heights, Devin can only attack the monster that Full Heights targets, and since Omega's no longer on the field, he can't declare an attack at all.
You're not wrong.
That's the whole problem with Rise to Full Heights, and why it's such a scary thing to run into is that you get into these situations where like I said, unless it's a kaiju or like a ghost ogre or a chalice or something to get rid of the Omega, then it's kind of dicey how you're gonna get around it.
And from here, he's going to activate that the chain to grab the Frightful Fusion.
Because you got to remember, Devin is so low on cards. Oscar can just sit here and say, "Okay, I'm going to keep swinging to your monsters, and eventually you're going to deck out." Unless Devin can.
Devin may. I don't remember if he still has it, but he has. What's her name? Christia.
I think he may be
He may have
past
said,
the point of.
well, if he keeps banishing, he could get his count there. Because when he activates Fright for Fusion, he has
That's
to
true.
banish. And
But
here
that wouldn't stop the Omega though, because Omega returns like a wind-up
you're
rabbit.
not wrong, but it could deal with the Omega just straight on. Both of them at 28 attack. And here comes the Dark Hall. So from here, there goes the Dante's Pilgrim. And see, now the Pilgrim's going to deal with a card out of his hand.
Yeah. Oh, there's one of the Frightful Fusions.
So that's 1 out of 2, though.
Oh yeah, he's still got some plays for sure.
I
I'm
think
just-
Devin would have preferred to get rid of the Poly.
Oh yeah.
So he could double Fright for, bring out Sabretooth and the Sheep. Or he could bring out... See, this is the play where he needs to make Wolf. Which I think Devin's trying here. He's going to Poly here. He's probably going to pitch the go straight for the Frightful Fusion. Get rid of the Dog, Edge Imp.
That's timing the round.
So I think here he's going to bring back... You have to keep in mind, too, Devin needs to go for game while his board's clear.
But that's the problem, is that once again, Devin's unable to attack because of Rise to Full Heights.
So, stall tactic.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that unless Devin, because this is turn 0-1, so unless Devin can deal with the Omega in his next turn, then it'll be game. Because he's not able to deal any kind of damage.
And then Sabretooth will bring back Sheep. And which, if I was Devin, I'd probably put both of those monsters in defense mode with the
Yeah.
Omega coming back. And Devin could, if he really wanted to deck thin, he could go for, whatchamacallit, he could use the Toy Vendor effect. Alright, so we have turn 1 with Ozzy. Returning back the Omega, and here comes the Lord of Darkness. And let's see what he pitches. We can't quite see what he pitches. So from here, if I was Ozzy really doesn't have to do much except
No.
play defensive here.
Yeah.
He could. I wonder if he's got BLS.
He might, but
Even then, it's still. Ozzy really doesn't have to play aggressive here. He's got Graf, so Graf's going to die and bring back probably Farfa. Maybe Farfa or Seer.
he's a Dante, I believe.
Well, it was a Graf, so he
Oh, Grab, yeah, sorry. Some of the Seer, maybe even some of the Dante. Or a Farfa, like you said, but Farfa really wouldn't.
Well, Farfa would get rid of the Sheep for the turn. And Sheep, because every time it dies, it can be brought back. And so it'll gain 800 attack. And you have to keep in mind that Sheep is also in our bodies, so nothing can happen during the declaration.
Bar just to lower him.
Yep.
More. Well, that's the thing, is that, like I said, unless Devin has a Ghost Ogre or a Gamma Seal, I'm not really sure what he's going to do to prevent.
All this from going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so he will lose 900.
Yeah.
So it's going to drop him down to 800.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Oh no, you're fine. Let's see. So you're going to go to he's going to go to 900,
800.
800.
And unless Devin can find a way to deal 7,200 in one turn without attacking, as Devin does his dice trick to hopefully make his opponent forget how much life points he has.
Stacking some dice.
Oh, and there's, I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Soul charge for 1, which the Graf's going to die. Which
But he's already used Graf's effect.
Yep, and Devin did call him out on that.
Yeah.
So Ozzy just jumped ahead to that play. I probably would have
Yeah.
brought back the Labrite and the Hieratic monster. and made him rank 6 or rank 7.
And Maxi. And that should be game.
And the rise to full heights is back in his grave. So what? There's not like the only out I could see would be the whatchamacallit.
It's Ghost Ogre or Chalice, really, because it's got to be something in that can deal with the Omega during the standby phase to prevent Rise to Full Heights from being returned. And see here, banish a card, and then won't be able to attack.
Got rid of the Maxi. So Devin may just be showing off.
Yeah, he may just be, you know what, I'm going to summon all my fusions anyway, and I can't attack, but hey, it'll be fun.
And he's going to Fright for Fusion.
Yeah.
Because here, you're right, there's not really an out that he can do. He's just going to banish all of them. All but one. And he'll probably bring out a third Sabertooth. So he's banishing 5. He may bring out Wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf for 5. And
so lots of damage on board. Unfortunately, none of it will go through.
You're not wrong. And he's showing that
just the power of.
Well, not only that, he could have OTK'd.
Oh, absolutely.
If Rise to Full Heights.
Well, I mean, we knew that if Rise to Full Heights wasn't employed, Devin could have won that second turn off the Maxi.
I agree.
So, but that's why the cookie crumbles, and Rise to Full Heights, a very powerful card that a lot of people don't account for. But he may, after seeing this match, he may be a little bit more scared. So,
is it common out of this past set, or is it out of Shining Victories?
I think it's Shining Victories.
And his top deck was Regeki. So that was our round 2, one of our second matches that we did for Game 3. We will be taking a short break, getting ready for round 3. So if you will, please stand by, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Welcome back to round 3 of our 5-round locals tonight. We have Clay, who's not new to the stream. He was playing PK Fire the last time we saw him.
Now he's playing some variant of Metal Foes and Luna Lights, I believe.
Which is we've heard before, but we've never really seen it on stream. So this will be something new for us. And Spiky, I don't remember exactly what he's playing.
Heroes, I think.
He may be.
I think I could be mistaken. But.
Yep. So, yes, the Luna Lights is what Clay is playing. And this is at table 2, I believe. So table 1
was Angelov and Hutch, who we've seen both of these players in a rota.
So we wanted to see something new that wasn't a mirror match or
So,
PK versus Metal Foes.
Shadow Mist, potentially?
Possibly. Yes.
Yeah,
so
Shadow Mist.
Spiky is playing Heroes.
Which, will, as we mentioned last week, we'll see a huge bump in play when Totally Awesome releases next set.
Please don't remind me. Totally.
I kind of like the name change. This guy's kind of crazy.
I felt like our one of the owners here named Kelvin brought it up. He was like, I did not come up with the name of that card. It was just kind of a cheesy thing. And so with Spiky summoning Shadow Mist, he's going to be...
It summons Bubble Man from hand.
Yes, and then he's going to upstart. So Clay's going to go to 9,000 as soon as we get this working. Oh, no. Wrong one. This is a work in progress, folks. So, now with
Does
Spike...
he have a mass change?
I don't know if he searched it.
Well, he doesn't get to search it from a normal summon. It has to be special summoned. So
You're not wrong.
I
Here
think
comes the
he may.
Luna Light Panthers.
We're about to find out. Attacking over the Shadow Mist, I'm sure. So he will get a search, probably for another Bubble Man.
So, this guy, what is his...
1600.
16, so he'll take 600. So,
And this one is the floater of the deck. If it's destroyed, he will get to summon a Luna Light from deck.
which I've had a hard time playing against the Luna Light
Yeah,
deck.
because the blue cat will summon out a tiger, and the tiger will summon another blue. And it's just kind of it's almost akin to a Dante Seer loop. Maybe not quite as crazy, but
And then here he's going to go ahead and use the
Metal Foes.
Metal Foe Stealing to pop
Which will
the-
also trigger the blue cat.
Yep. And see, even here, you could run the combination, and when you fuse for the Luna Light fusions, you can add back the Metal Foes monsters, which is a really interesting combo you can do with the deck.
Yeah.
And he's going to play the Perfume, which will allow him to special Luna Light monster.
And then you banish it to search.
And so from here, Spiky's probably
Because he has a Bubble Man in hand along with another unknown.
and a Bubble Man.
Yeah.
So from here comes Tiger King.
Searching for a Tinky unless Spike has a response. And Floodgate Trap Hole.
So he'll get the search for Tinky.
Yeah, which is the main thing Clay wanted here. I mean, having a body is great, but he didn't really care about using Tiger King's effect here.
Secondary effect, of course.
Yeah. Now, he could search for a Fire Fist monster, or he could search, because he
He can search for a Luna Light.
or a Pendulum Scale.
You're not wrong. But from here, the
He searched for Black Sheep, which allows him to add polymerization.
Yes. So
with Palmer's...
we're both learning as we're watching here, and it was
There's
Spiky's
Shadow
turn
Mist.
first. Shadow
And
Mist.
that's it. No mass changes yet. That's
I'm
kind of
surprised
rough.
Spiky hasn't tried to overlay here, which
Yeah.
he may. He could probably go into Blade Armor Ninja.
I think that's what he's looking at.
Because with Spiky not really having a mass change to bring out Dark Law.
That's the key card against Metal Foes at this point. Is Dark Law, because it prevents things like your scales from being reusable, prevents things like counter and combination for their secondary effects from triggering.
And here comes a special Bubble Man. So from here, he could leave the Shadow Mist on board, bring out Blade Armor, or just...
Oh, Utopia?
I think he may be going for the Lightning.
It's not a terrible idea. Oh, because that way he won't be able to use the counter.
Yes.
Problem is, though, is he can just pop the Tinky next turn, so it's not a huge deal, but... Oh
And
well,
so-
gets a 1,000 damage.
Yep. And see here, not a lot of players here are doing it, but some players I've seen at the regionals were doing. They would be playing S Prime just to give them another way to detach.
Yeah. Um, and I think it's a really interesting strategy. I think heroes are kind of limited because their extra deck space is so cramped. But in just a generic rank 4 deck, I definitely see that being played a lot.
And so here, I believe he's going to be able to destroy both.
No, it returns them to hand, yeah. And it's gross because it's up to the number of Lunalights you control. So, essentially you can True Nade your opponent's field and then just push in for an OTK. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that with Lightning on board, obviously, but Clay has something cooking up in the works here, I feel like. He's only balancing one? Or
he may only be able to bounce one because we're not sure if it includes himself. Like, excludes.
Oh, that's right, yes. I think you may be right. But now he's going to get the summon, he's going to get the set. Kind of things a little out of order here, but he can set Metal Foe's card. He's going to get to summon off of the counter and a summon off of the blue cat. So lots of stuff kind of going on all at once here.
Especially now that he's got counter in there, it's going to allow him to, if he really needs to, add the 8 scale if it ever gets destroyed, and it'll help pursue being able to pendulum summon now his Lunalight monsters.
Yeah, if he can get to a high scale here, Clay could be in a really good position because he can fusion off his 2 pendulums for an Adamante, or an Adamant, and then if he can pendulum those back out, that'd be really good.
I think here he's going to see what he draws, because if he gets to an 8 scale, it's going to really hurt Spiky.
Problem is, though, is that he's got to find a way to get over that lightning without battle, because obviously he's going to make himself 5,000, and that's...
He can't do that.
He can't, yeah. And I think...
Spiky's going to call it out.
Yeah, I think he's going to read.
Because he did it this turn. And Clay's now going to read.
Okay, yeah, good. Because this is Clay's first time playing a Metal Foe engine or a Metal Foe deck, so I think he's kind of learning as we go. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad that was corrected.
Yeah, unlike some of our matches tonight.
Yeah,
where
but it's all good.
Where we were like, whoa, he can't do that. But
I don't think Clay's going to mind too much, because I believe he put that in the... Or did he normal summon?
He normal summoned
He normal summoned the rabbit, so that must be a scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
He's using it. There we go. And then now he's going to poly. Yeah. Because that's like a wolf bark effect where he can revive a Lunalight.
Now he brings out the leopard, I believe.
Yeah. Problem is, now he's going to pendulum summon, it looks like?
Yes.
But I'm still curious. Oh, maybe he can make... But no, Sky Cavalry still doesn't deal with it. Not with lightning.
No, he...
Oh, what? That's the new
number monster.
Yeah, it's like a prohibition.
Yes. So he can't use that monster. Cannot use his effect.
Okay.
I want to say that was number 17, 14.
And that's game. Why'd they?
Yeah.
So I guess they just admitted they're going to game 2. It's weird to see a handshake after a game 1 win. I guess.
Yeah. With the Lunalight monsters, I know one of them gets to attack twice.
Yeah, if he destroys a monster.
Yes. So that's the reason why we believe that it's going straight to game 2.
Because, yeah, and then plus, I don't think Spiky had any kind of resources really to deal with it. I think he started writing on the wall, but I think that was game.
Yeah.
Damage on board, so.
And see, from here, we're slowly learning more about Clay's deck, and we're going into game 2. If I was thinking about it, if Spiky was going into game 2, he has the option to go first, or he can choose to make Clay go first. If I was Spiky, I'd probably want to go second, because that deck seems to be a little more. I can, like his turn 1. If he goes second, he could go for game. And with Spiky, yes, you do run Dark Law, but that game he really couldn't get to it, which really hurt him overall.
But let's be honest, it's very rare that heroes aren't able to get to Dark Law with 3 turns. So maybe, because Clay also might be anticipating, okay, well, he's going to make me go first. So he may side in traps, and vice versa. Spiky may say, oh, I'm going to, one-up you by doing this. So there's a lot of little mind games going on. If I were Spiky, I would trust my deck, and I would go first, since I know what I'm siding. Clay's deck obviously is designed to go second, so he's probably going to side in things like Twin Twisters, but you got to think, if you can get to Dark Law plus a couple back row, that's going to be really tough for Clay to deal with. Especially because with things like Blue Cat, reliant on the graveyard for revival and the summoning effect and whatnot. So
And see here going into game 2 of our round 3, I thinking about it from both sides. It just depends on how your side deck is as well,
Exactly.
which is really important going into bigger events because you have to go with the mindset of, oh, if I lose game 1, do I want to go first? And that's how you kind of you figure out if you want to go first. You'll side in your first turn cards.
yeah,
Which is why a lot of players, you'll see some players who play like Solemn Strikes in their side deck or Pendulum Holes, and they see that they're not going to go first. They'll wait to side them in until
Exactly.
they go first.
exactly.
Because when you're going second, you really don't want to have those in your hand. You want to have more of your combo pieces.
Absolutely.
In which, for some of our viewers who aren't as familiar with what what the side deck's more beneficial for, it's mostly just to help you have a wide variety of cards to help you against worse matchups. I know a lot of people here probably are more familiar with it. Some of y'all may not be. And so, with this, I could see Spiky probably side decking as if he's going first. And Clay could probably say that he's going to go second. But we'll see here what Spiky decides to do. So we're starting off game 2.
Clay looks like he has a strong with Tinky and then a Metal Foes and then a Poly. Ugh.
Spiky does get to go first. And so
Aegis at 1,
set 2.
2, 3. Ugh.
So maybe he's running old school heroes, and you may see a Gemini Spark.
Yeah, but depending on with those back row, it's not exactly a great start.
Well,
For Spiky.
Clay's going to resolve Tinky, so there must not be a Gemini Spark.
For Blue Cat.
Yep.
Let's see, maybe Spiky has an emptiness or a warning or something that can
He's going
search for Poly.
to. Yep. And Clay, keep in mind, he does have one Poly in hand.
So now with multiple Polys, if his summons are allowed to go through, he'll be able to fusion for the big one. Goodness, what's his name? It's an ultra rare.
Yeah. I can't
And
remember.
that is a very painful thing to deal with. Can't be targeted, can't be.
And so when
It's,
he's going to put one into Pendulum Scale. And I believe Spiky may respond with a mass change. So he's going to probably bring out the Acid.
well, it's got to be a light, so it's got to be Koga.
I keep forgetting. For some reason, I wanted to say it was a water. So yes,
So I
he'll
think
bring
Koga
it.
makes them lose attack.
I believe
Is that
so.
correct?
We can double check the.
There's the first Poly.
So this is not looking good for Spiky here.
No, not too good, but again, Koga's effect escapes me. I think it has a battle trick. But
This card gains 500 attack for each monster your opponent controls. Once per turn during the other player's turn, you can banish a hero monster from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster on the field. That target loses attack equal to the attack of the banished monster.
yeah, so that's how he's going to survive. But one of them can't be targeted by card effects.
I wanna say
And I
it's-
think it's the one that Clay's about to summon
The
right
ultra
now.
rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
And
this is probably something you won't get to see very often is Lunalights towards the
so
top
now
table.
he's going to use his Metal Foes effect to pop his scale, and I want to say
He could pop Tinky. Keep that in mind. Which it'd be more reasonable to pop the scale to bring
because
it-
the scale's going to get him a Blue Cat.
Yep. That's one thing that Tinky's really good for in the deck is being able to pop your dead Tinkies.
Yeah.
Um,
Now I wonder how Clay's going to deal with.
so he's going to use Koga's effect to drop the Leopard. He's going to probably banish the Alias.
Art. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought that couldn't be targeted. Maybe a different. I
may-
know one of the fusions can't be targeted, but
Yeah.
Clay clearly kind of just. I'm not really sure. Clay clearly wasn't aware of Koga's other effect. Otherwise, he wouldn't have just attacked into it. So
He
that's kind of a slip up by Clay.
And see Spiky here. Is going to set
Does he have a?
second
Can he
bubble.
go for acid here? Well, he can't because he just set the mass change here.
Yeah. And for our memory, do you remember how much the Fusion Monsters attack was originally?
It was 20 or 30 something.
And so from here, he's going to bring out Utopia and then bring out Utopia Lightning, which I think he's figured out is a really good card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Utopia the Lightning. It was just. I mean, it's like $25 now. It's crazy expensive.
But it's just simply because we don't have the reprint version over here.
And it deserves to be. I mean, I know it's a promotional card, so maybe thinking, oh, well, it's only a $10 manga, so why the $25 price tag? But with it being so relevant in the meta and just splashable in anything that can make a rank 4, I mean, most decks, the only rank 4s they may even play are Abyss Dweller and Lightning.
Yes.
So it's a card that has definitely found its way in the meta.
And I think we see Spiky fixing to attack with Utopia Lightning into this guy.
So it's going to be 3,400 off of that.
So we
also,
know,
we do know that Panther Dancer had 2,800 attack.
so 28 you minus 19
Yes.
is going to put him at 9. And this may be game is the reason why
9,
we're hesitant to changing life points here. He's going to activate counter, so Clay's still hoping to keep fighting here as we get life points situated. So we know
he
that
had 3 at the time, so that would be 1,500 plus.
and then he brings out the Gold Driver, which he draws one of the Lunalite Pendulum monsters, which I don't know how.
Does Koga prevent your opponent from taking battle damage?
No.
Okay. Then, if I'm not mistaken, that should be game. If what we happen is indeed what happened, then he crashed into the Koga then. Because that's just 3,600 alone from the lightning attack, and then if the Koga gains 500 for each monster your opponent controls, he would have been at 1,500 minus another 1,900, and then the attack over the cat. I think we must be missing something. I know Tinky's going to add a couple hundred points here and there, but I feel like
that should be game.
I mean, clearly they're, they know their cards better than we do, and maybe we missed something, but
And here comes Floodgate Trap Hole.
man, so he's gonna be able to make a rank 4. Oh, there's Metal Fist Fusion.
In which I think he's going to make the Adamante here. Which it's just going to hopefully give him another draw. Is all the Fusion's going to do here.
Yeah.
And right now we're a little hesitant on changing life points here, just because we're not quite sure.
We know that Clay's down 3,600 for sure.
For
from
sure.
The lightning.
And then he also took an additional 19 from where.
Plus the 25.
Yeah.
Or plus the 15 from Koga's attack, and then the attack over the. So
we're not quite sure where life is at this exact moment, but we know Clay is in the losing position at this point, and Clay does perform a Pendulum Summon, I believe.
Yes.
And he could possibly make a rank 3 here. I'm not quite sure what rank 3 he would make here. Maybe Brave Sword to get over the lightning.
What is Clay doing?
He's searching for. Oh, he used the scale.
You can't hit a set card.
Which card did he set?
He popped his face down fusion monster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we gotta.
Well, we'll remind them. It's like I said, our judges are not around there. They would have caught that.
I'm genuinely, I hate to see this game go this way because, for one, like I said, maybe if y'all see something in the stream that I'm clearly missing, then please let us know. But I really feel like that Clay should have lost all of his life points this last turn.
Yes.
If we're reading Koga like we think it is read, and with the attack boost to lightning, I really am confused.
But the players down there are keeping life points, so they have a better indication than we do. We're in a whole separate room away from these guys, so they don't hear us even revealing their hands or any ideas. So we don't want to give any unfair advantage.
Yeah, obviously not.
So we can't really exactly see from where we are what's going on, or even indicate to them that something happened. And so all we're doing is one judge is roaming around here and hopefully catching these little errors that could cost people games, and hopefully the players now are starting to see slowly that they're making better
Once
plays.
again, what is? I guess Clay popped. I guess that's a scale down there. He popped his other scale.
Yes.
Okay.
As Clay is going to probably bring out Volflame here, one of the bigger ones, or he could bring out just one to help complete a scale.
Well, I think what's probably going to happen is you're going to see a fusion play for Orichalk or Orihulk in order to get over the lightning.
Which, if he could possibly find a way to put it in defense mode, he could do double piercing with it.
Oh yeah, that would be really devastating.
And that's something I've actually liked as the game goes on, is double piercing. Just here recently, it's new to the game. It could correct me if I'm wrong, but that's really one of the first monsters we've seen that has double piercing.
That and then Chaos Max was released very recently. It's double piercing. It was released in the movie pack.
Yep.
I want to say, is it
4,000.
those the only two monsters that
As
only two
it-
that I know off the top of my head?
Yes.
There may be others.
There may be non-noticeable monsters.
Yeah, I have a feeling there may be like an equip card that says deal double piercing damage. But
Well, I know Fairy Mirror Crush just initially
yeah,
does
it's just-
piercing.
yeah, that was the original.
And so here comes 300 for sure
Yeah.
with Clay attacking into Spiky's Utopia Lightning. So if you'll give us 1 second, I'm going to go step out of this room and try to make sure life points are correct. I'm leaving Will Best as the commentary as of right now.
Let's see. Spiky's looking at his set card. And a hero lives. Wow. He's gonna have to pay a hefty amount of life points to use that, but it basically guarantees Dark Law. If that's what he decides to go for.
Alright, so after a sheer correction, we found out that Clay is at 2,300 life points.
And Spiky's gonna lose half of his because of Hero Lives.
So, as we get life points now corrected, we'll do our best this time to keep up with life points a little better. Or 2,300. And Spiky's going to be down to 3,850 for this A Hero Lives.
And then, let's see.
And Summoner
Summoner
Monk.
comes down. I think one of Clay's back rows is a Twin Twister, so not too useful here.
And see, even here, just kind of observing what I've seen out there and in here, both players are kind of nervous about being on stream. I know Spiky, this is his first time, but
Yeah.
with Clay's been here a few times. And he's
Now,
still
if-
kind of...
Now, if Spiky plays Castell, which I can't imagine a hero player not playing Castell.
Any rank 4 deck needs to play
Yeah,
Castell.
exactly. If he just overlays the two Summoner Monks, bounces the Orihulk, and attacks, that should be enough for game.
Yes, unless Clay has a defensive trap.
Well, we know that one of them is a counter, and the other one is, I'm pretty sure the other one's a Twin Twister. We know one is a counter for sure, because he said it last turn.
Yes. And
Yeah,
here comes the
and I think
Castell.
Spiky sees that.
And I think Clay's going to wrap it up here, maybe? I think he sees that's a Twin Twister, and he's just going to
Yeah.
put that back and attack for possible game. Unless the face down.
Well,
is
he
real.
could. Oh, he's gonna. That's kind of a desperation move, but he's gonna pop his own Tinky and his scale, or just the Tinky.
But even I don't know how that game mechanic would work, because if you think about it, I think Spiky's going to chain the Dark Law here, and so all of
yeah,
it's going to
that's-
get banished.
Yeah, that should be game.
But no, what I was thinking was, because see what he's going to do. Well, no, it's not necessarily game, because if he brings out Volflame, he's going to have to swing Dark Law into it, and then it's going to leave Clay at 300.
That's right. I keep forgetting that it doesn't have to go to the graveyard; it only has to be destroyed.
Yes. And so Clay's now having to try to figure out where everything goes.
Everything should be banished except for what he pitched for cost.
Yes.
but Clay is not in a good position here because
we believe he's got one scale, and it's a Metalfoes.
yeah, and he doesn't have a counter engraver to search another, I believe.
So if I was Spiky, I would attack with the Darklaw into the Volfling.
Just put Clay at 300.
Just
and
put
say,
Clay at 300
yeah.
and just tell him, you better top deck. And I'm not quite sure what Spiky's considering right now. Maybe he's just thinking about, okay, I've got Darklaw, and if he tries to add anything, Darklaw's just going to take it out of his hand.
And so keep in mind that although Clay could have gotten to the second counter by popping a face-up monster, he did get to it by popping a face-down, which is not a correct play. You're not allowed to do that. So I think the layout would be a little different had that happened, but...
And Spiky just passed.
Yeah, and see now...
And he's going to Pendulum Summon, and
he's gonna
I
make
think Clay's going
Eye,
to make Big Eye.
And see now Spiky's saying, why on earth did I
Take
not...
the Darklaw,
Yeah,
and then
that's...
ban. Okay, so here he's just going to battle phase, use the Darklaw to run it over. And see, this isn't necessarily game. So he's going to take 400 here, and then he's going to take 19, so it's going to put him down by 23.
Yeah.
And that's going to put him at 1550. Which Spiky could have put him down to 300, but
Well, the big thing is he couldn't Big Eye the Darklaw, so at least his stuff wouldn't be getting banished.
Darklaw would have died.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so that way, at least if this play had happened, Spiky would have 400 more life points, and wouldn't the Volflame be banished to battle with Darklaw?
No.
No,
They're
That's right.
simultaneously
That's
destroyed.
the field.
Really.
So it doesn't make too much of a difference, but in
the
hindsight, you wouldn't be staring down a Darklaw.
Well, actually, I think it would have been game for Spiky, because if he would have Big Eyed anyway, because he would have drawn the one scale. He
It would
would
have been 20. Yeah, it would have been 39. So yeah, it would have been game by 50. You're correct.
So I think Spiky was playing a little defensive, which was smart in this situation. But let's see if Spiky heroes have a hard time top decking.
Well, Hero lives. That's what he top decked last time.
And that's game.
No, Hero
So
lives this time.
with Clay playing Lunalite Metalfoes is, I believe, 3-0 going into round 4. So if you'll stay with us, we're going to go find another match for us to commentate, and just stay tuned. Welcome to round 4 of our Crimson Castle Locals out of 5. Tonight this is table 2. Table 1 had already been on stream, and we wanted to really give Spiky another chance. He didn't really open as strong as he would have liked, and so with Metal Foes, Pure Metal Foes, going to be his opponent today. With I think he's still running the Jowgen and everything as well. So really, we'll get to see what Spiky can do. Brandon Pittman, he comes in so often. He's not one of our well-experienced players, unlike what you've seen from Cody Angeloff, Zach Fox, and Cody Burns. He's getting better as we keep talking about. He's been on streams and getting to the top tables a lot. So with this matchup, do you have any comments about what you expect to see out of Spiky or Brandon?
Darklaw, like we mentioned earlier, just any kind of pendulum deck that's going to be searching and whatnot, Darklaw's going to be a problem. But, Kieran likewise is also a problem for heroes. Jowgen can be a way to deal with Darklaw. So it really comes down to if Spiky opens like he has the past couple games, then Brandon might take this pretty quickly. But we'll see what happens.
And also, too, if Brandon can establish a stronger board, he can put a Jowgen in defense mode and really devastate him. And as the round 3 of dice rolls commence,
all those ties. I think Brandon won.
He did.
So if that's the case, he's probably going to go first.
Yes.
Archfiend, Kieran, Twin Twist. I saw Kieran.
We did see Kieran.
And Archfiend.
Yes. I was kind of hoping he sets a monster and sets him back.
He may not be able to summon the Kieran.
And I think he wants to keep that element. And Spiky doesn't really quite know what he's playing, so with that, he may not want to reveal too much with his turn 1 plays.
Yeah.
But if Brandon was observing, which he finished late, he doesn't know what Spiky's playing. So we see an alias. So Brandon's probably... Ooh.
We can't see what it was.
I think it was the Gold Driver. One of the weaker ones, because he got sent to the scale.
Well, if it was Gold Driver, well, like I said, maybe we missaw what was in hand. I know I saw Eccentric. He could have been able to summon the Kieran.
He may have set the Eccentric.
I think that's what it was.
Ooh, he's main decking Dark Hole. And he got rid of 2 of Spiky's back rows. We couldn't quite see what they were. And I think Brandon's Silvered and Kieran, I believe, was what was popped.
So it looks like, yeah. But now, what is he?
He sets the counter, which he may have drawn the 8 skill to get Kieran out. Keep in mind, this is all...
that's the only card he's got left in his hand now. Oh, he popped the Kieran, duh.
Yeah.
It's hard to see from the camera angle, because I was like, why would he? It looked like he popped the other scale, but okay.
And then now he could Archfiend away the... Or he could just... Ooh, he's going to use Kieran. He still has a normal summon.
Yeah, so he can just bounce it right back, so... You can swing for 28, and hopefully there's no drowning or quaking mirror force to... And now he's going to use the other skill to pop the Archfiend.
Yep. So he'll be down to 52.
And kind of like we mentioned, here it's kind of put up or shut up time. You got to deal with a Kieran, and heroes can... Yeah, heroes can kind of struggle against that, so it's going to be...
If they don't have a way to get over it quickly, and...
Plus, Pittman's got 2 counters, so even if he does find a way...
And here comes Goblinberg.
Yeah.
To bring out the alias. So here you can see a rank 4.
That doesn't help him all that much right now.
You're right. If Spiky's got a way to get the scales out of the way... Or
That's true.
Or it really... Spiky's not in a good position just because Brandon does have double counter. So if he does get rid of the scales, he could counter both of the monsters back out and then banish the 2 to bring the scales back. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Spiky brings out here. Blade armor. So he's going to bounce with the Kieran, which is what we expected.
To be expected, yeah. No reason not to. Now, here's time to see whether Spiky has a solid warning or a strike, perhaps, to deal with that.
So Brandon
pendulum
draws.
Summon.
I could see Brandon.
If he has another scale, I'd probably pop just to get monsters out with counters.
Yep, that's what he's doing. He's going to pop his scale.
Of course, this does leave you extremely vulnerable to vanity. If Spiky had an emptiness set, that might be game, but it doesn't look like he does, so all clear.
So he's going to bring out 2 gold drivers here. Which here he can make the Metal Foes monster, the 2800.
Ori Hulk, yeah.
Yep.
Not sure if he'd do that here, just because he obviously has more damage right here on board.
Well, the reason why is because he can
pendulum something back out.
Yeah, if he has a 1 scale or an 8 scale in hand.
And he obviously must have. If he,
And even here, he could Floodgate.
Yeah.
That's one of the hottest cards we've seen today.
So there's one backer out of the way, and it is good. You know, I am kind of surprised that Spiky didn't wait to use that for the pendulum summon, because if he hits, because it hits multiple monsters like Bottomless Trap Hole, if I'm not mistaken. So if he could have hit all those he was about to summon, yeah, he'd take 28 to the face, but can't tell what Pittman drew.
And I think he just got the scale he needed. So now Brandon's got to watch for if he's got a strike or a warning face down.
And he's probably thinking, well, he just blew a
Floodgate.
Yeah, so he may have something else.
So he's going to pendulum 3, and here comes strike.
Yeah.
So he's going to lose 15 from here. It's going to put him at 37.
So Spiky a little low on life, but
he's kind of leveled the playing field.
He is in the driver's seat. Yeah.
Because he can't flip that monster anymore. It's just there.
Mm-hmm. He can fusion with it, though, so...
He can if he gets to it. Which, I could... Here's the thing that you have to think about. He could use the whatchamacallit, can't he... Oh, he can't destroy a set card. I was fixing to say...
Plus, if he fusions with it, it leaves the field and it's sent to the graveyard, so he'd be able to pop a card with Ori Hulk's effect as well.
But he could just pendulum out, pop.
Yeah. That's
fusion
what he's
out.
doing.
Yep.
That's what he's doing.
Where, and I'm also wondering what Spiky's back row is, too. Because if it's attack, and we'll see what one of them is. I stand corrected.
Yeah, they kind of did that out of order, because the monster would be on field first.
Yes.
So if it was something like hypothetically a compulsory evacuation device or a bottomless trap hole, then... But it's not too big of a deal, because I think if it was something really devastating, Spiky probably would have used it on the pendulum summon. So
yes, if it would have been something like a strike or a warning, that would have been used on the pendulum summon just to stop Brandon from getting that far.
So right now, if Brandon can find a monster to normal summon, Drew Vanity's Emptiness, that's pretty devastating.
That's the only card he needs to see right now to stop his opponent from being able to just... That may be a mass change face down, and we see...
right there.
And then we believe this is...
And then, of course, Spiky, he's going to do double piercing, so it doesn't save him.
There we go.
Brandon takes game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. Kieran just... putting in work very early, and even when it was finally hit with Solemn Strike, it was Spiky was too low at life points for it to really make a difference at that point.
And we would expect Spiky to have a little better matchup, just because if he is able to establish a board, which he's been struggling tonight, which I'm kind of shocked by because the consistent base of that deck.
Yeah, we've only really seen him make Dark Law once. So, well, as weird as it is to say, odds are going to eventually even out. So I still say if you're Spiky, you should go first here. Because, what are the chances that you're not going to be able to make Dark Law in 3 out of your 4 games? That's a pretty rare occurrence. So
And another interesting thing too is Brandon may not have anything to side. Really, he may just be splashing cards in that may work.
Yeah. Probably just back row destruction, because that is something to do, or maybe Regeki. Well, he was already main decking Dark Holes, so...
He could side deck Cosmic Cyclone, he could side deck Twin Twister, which we saw him main.
Yeah, that's another thing, so I'm not really sure if the siding... He's already maining Dark Holes, Regeki, and the Twin Twister. He's not sure what else he'd really side in at that point.
Solemn Strike.
Maxie's? No.
Maxie's not really going to help.
Yeah, because at most you're really only going to get 1, maybe 2 draws, and then one of them's probably going to get ripped out by Dark Law, so...
And
possibly.
Well, the thing is, with Dark Law on board, if he establishes Dark Law, it makes all of his hand traps dead.
That's true. I was thinking of mainly what could he do turn one if he goes like Hero Lives into Shadow Mist. Like, what would be his best option? Really, Ghost Ogre, actually. I don't know if Brendan plays Ghost Ogre. But like you said, obviously, it wouldn't be too good of an idea to side any hand traps except maybe Flying Sea, because once Dark Law hits the board, those hand traps can't be pitched to the graveyard. So.
And it's still even hard to even play hand traps against the hero matchup.
Yeah.
Really, you just have to play prevention of Dark Law, or if you just have a Kaiju could help get
Yeah,
off.
he may play Kaiju. That's something that obviously the people have sided in.
You could side the sticky strings in because it's just an easier way to get out of it.
Yeah.
And it's a level 7, so it's not going to be easy for heroes to make. And as we start game 2,
It's Archfiend Eccentric, a Ghost Ogre, it looks like. I think that's what it looked like, a Ghost Ogre.
it did look like a Ghost Ogre, and I hope for Brandon, he is going second, so he's going to go Goblinberg here, which we could possibly, and it was Ghost Ogre. So he'll get the summon.
Interesting that he didn't Ghost Ogre the Shadow. I mean, because this way, he'll still get his search, obviously, with Ghost Ogre, but he won't have a live target for the mass change.
I think Brandon just jumped the gun on that, like you said. He
Yeah.
should have waited for the Shadow Mist to activate. I think Spikey caught a break on that.
Yeah. So, because right now Brandon's down to 4 cards, whereas Spikey got a +1. Or no?
Yep.
Yeah, he did get a +1.
Well, no, yeah, I mean he kind of
He's evened out, so he's
Yeah.
back to 5, so he's up.
did. Brandon draw?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to use that, and then Spikey's going to chain it. So here comes Dark Law. So this is where we could see the game, and there's the sticky string Kaiju.
Wow.
We just talked about having that card,
And there's Kieran too. That's brutal.
but he doesn't have a scale. That's the issue.
Well, I think he does now.
He's got Kieran and Steel. So the problem is here, he can't bring Kieran out, but he's going to use that and bring out the Archfiend and pop the Archfiend.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I think Spikey kind of missed out on, what he should have done, is he should have chained the mass change to the targeting of the Archfiend Eccentric. So that way, the Eccentric should have gotten banished.
Well, the thing is that with Archfiend Eccentric, it sends.
No. I'm talking about when he uses Metal Foe's scale to pop the Eccentric.
Yes.
Because that's what he did, right? Because he.
He put
Right,
Archfiend
okay,
in
my
the
mistake,
scale.
my mistake.
Use Archfiend
To
send
bait
it-
out. Okay, gotcha. My
Yes.
mistake.
And then what Brandon did was he set a counter.
Yeah. Okay, my mistake.
And see Spikey, I think he's down to 3 cards in hand. So he's just going to normal summon. I believe he'll attack for 1,000.
Or no, excuse me, he's going to special summon Bubble Man, and he could go ahead and mass change here or Rhoda for another Bubble Man. So we could see Blade Armor Ninja here.
Yeah. Interesting to see what that last set card is.
It could be a Floodgate. It could be mass change.
Yeah, Floodgate's been popping up a lot for him. That'd be pretty clutch.
Um,
At first, I thought Brandon was going to be able to pull off a combo with Kieran and the Kaijus to keep constantly bouncing it back,
Yes.
but like you mentioned, he did not have the full set of scales. So what's the best thing to make here? Because would you make a Castel to bounce the scale to make it
Yes.
even more tough to complete? I think that's the correct play
I
here.
would make a Castell, get rid of the scale, so that Brandon's got a dead.
Or play it.
He may be trying to go for damage here.
That's true.
Um,
Hard to fault him for that.
so it's going to be 44 and 1,000, so he'll take 54.
Yeah.
So it's going to put him down to 26.
I do think that, like we mentioned, the Castel was the correct play because we've seen some pretty crazy top decks. So
Because if you think about it, he could top deck the
scale and then
top deck the scale, which at this point it shouldn't matter because unless Spikey's back row is just dead, I think his back row is kind of alive.
That's true.
Spikey's, they're going to
Yeah,
get
in game 3.
So Spikey
We
pulls
didn't
one
get-
out.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to see what that was, but like you said, if it was a strike or a floodgate or anything like that, it would have been irrelevant. Heck, even yeah.
Well, I think with Spikey, he wanted to pressure Brandon Brandon to where if he top decked Monster, and both these guys with us starting our stream again, a lot of these guys are not used to being played underneath cameras where
True.
people are watching. So some plays that we may see, they don't. So we're hoping that as we keep streaming more, the quality of the players will start seeing better plays.
They'll get more comfortable with being under the camera. And
Exactly.
So-
And here with Brandon, I think he sees that maybe Darklaw turn 1's not the best way he wants to start this game out. So he may let his opponent go first, but I would highly suspect that he goes first.
he drew a painful decision. I know that much. Oh, Rescue Rabbit too. That's a Maxi, a Rescue Rabbit, painful decision, and
I couldn't see the last card.
I think it was just a Metalfoes scale. I couldn't tell which one. Yeah.
So let's see. If he's got 2 scales, he could pop, bring out a fusion counter, pendulum back out.
I think that'd be the best play to.
He's got Summer's Art.
Okay.
So maybe he's running the Kleeport engine. We haven't seen that.
Right.
So he's gonna pop one. Which, if he runs the Klee monsters, we could see a Infinity play here.
It's true.
'Cause he doesn't have Gofu. We haven't seen that tonight from him. He's got a Painful and a Summer's Art, so he could.
He'll definitely get complete scales here.
Yes. He's going for the 8. Which I don't think he runs the Klee monsters.
Yeah, well, clearly at this point he wouldn't. If he did, he would search the scout first
Yes.
before he did any of that.
Scout search the monolith. And then instead of popping the monster on the field, he would pop the scout.
Yeah.
But we could be wrong. He could be playing this in a different approach.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we don't see the Quillport monsters.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to assume, like, because if he had, I think he would have just started out with that play just to make sure that he gets both of them and thins out his deck and whatnot. So, but he's definitely gonna be able to pendulum summon 2 gold drivers and the Vol Flame. Let's see if he's got anything else. No Kieran this time. He's gonna fusion. That's a smart play because it kind of forces Spiky to go into Lightning to deal with the Ori Hulk, because otherwise he's gonna be able to destroy a card on the other side of the field. So something like Koga.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a 1-for-1 essentially.
Yeah, even Darklaw, doesn't matter if it's. Or I guess it does have to. I guess it does have to go to the graveyard.
It has to be sent to the
Okay,
graveyard.
my mistakes. Darklaw would prevent it from activating, but
Well, he's got to have a Darklaw plus a spot removal, and you got to keep this in mind too. Counter is face down.
what? And the other card face down, he must have just drawn off the fusion, or it was in his hand. We couldn't tell
The
because we know the fusion he was one of the sets that he used, so it's a counter plus an unknown.
and here comes
There's Twin Twisters. We're gonna find out real quick what it is,
I would get rid of the back rows. And I believe
and we couldn't tell what it was.
we know one of them was counter.
And I think it's a spell, so maybe it's his own Twin Twister.
Well, you got to remember that was painful from the original,
And Spiky's gonna pay half.
And Brandon responds with Maxi.
Yes. To bring out Shadow Mist.
So with Spiky, he's going to be able to grab Mass Change. And it's a strong play, yes, but if he doesn't have a way to get rid of the fusion, it's just...
And the scales, too, because you got to remember, Darklaw, oh, well, let's see what he's got some rank 4, so Brandon's going to be drawing a lot, though.
But if it gets over this board, it may be worth it for Spiky, because here, he could Castell the Oricolk and overlay, or make the Darklaw.
May go Anki. Well, yeah, Darklaw. Because Anki has to send it to the graveyard, correct? To get the search. Yeah.
So, we could, and Shadow Mist will get the effect to add Bubble Man, special Bubble Man from his hand.
Wait, isn't Shadow Mist each effect once per turn?
I think it's each effect.
Is it? I thought you could only use, well,
We may be wrong.
Yeah.
So we're hoping.
yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, clearly Spiky's played Heroes more than I have, so he would know. So.
yeah. with Spiky down to 4,000. He's going to use both Bubble and he may. No, that wouldn't even be an option. I was thinking Dweller with it at 22, but that doesn't really seem to matter here.
Mm-hmm. Not here.
So,
Ooh,
that's not
Hope
a bad
Woven.
card.
That's a very underrated card. Not many decks can make it, but being able to lower all the monsters' attack on your opponent's side by 1,000, and then basically a monster reborn once it dies is super strong. So this will allow them to clear the entire field and deal some damage, and they'll get banished because of Dark Law too. So that's very, very strong.
Yes.
So he'll be taking. So Volflame went down to 1,400.
And he'll take the
12 for the shark.
Yes. And then Darklaw is going to
Will
swing
attack
or
for 600.
yeah,
So
so
1,800 total.
so go down to 52.
62.
Yes.
1,800. Okay.
I got distracted by the cards flying.
Oh
on
yeah,
the-
we have
the window.
good old Devin trying to always with his card tricks. But there's still that problem of hey, oh wow,
Problem solved.
Darklaw. But hey, Hope Woven can bring the Darklaw right back or something else.
I always thought I had to bring a water monster back.
Any monster.
So he brings back Shadow Mist.
Huh.
That's the reason why I was. It may.
Oh, because Darklaw can only be special summoned by mass change. That's why.
Correct.
Okay.
So Brandon may just be.
But the problem is that he can just pendulum summon, make another Uri Hulk, and that probably will be game.
Which I think is what's going to happen here.
Oh well, now he's got Kieran. I think this game's pretty much a wrap here.
Yeah. This has been one of the most interesting matches I've seen. It's not like last week where double Ultimaya. Oh god, it was like Crystal Wing and another Beals hit
Yeah.
the board in one turn, and we were just
Different, yeah.
we didn't know what to say and what to expect.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna see Brandon just drop everything here and say, "Hey, I've got 5 monsters. You're not about I'm gonna
Kieran-
bounce with Kieran and
Kieran's
yeah.
gonna bounce the stealing
But I think
and then just swing with everything. And now
Yeah.
Brandon's just making sure here.
he should just fuse the 2 of his metal foes to make an Ori Hulk, and then Shadow Mist has 5. Oh, I don't know if he shouldn't be doing that.
He's gonna make Adamante.
Yeah, I don't really see much of a point.
Yeah, I agree, but it could.
Well, I mean, either way, with Kieran, he could just simply bounce the. It's really kind of irrelevant. He may just be just saying, "Oh, I'm going to make 2 fusions," which I think is what he's doing. But
Well, it just depends on if. Really, this shouldn't be prolonged. This should
No.
just be
'Cause-
Kieran effect,
Mhm.
bounce Kieran or bounce a gold driver to pop. Which I think here he may make
he just kind of
Utopia Lightning. He's reassuring, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course.
Kieran's going to bounce that, and then he's going to swing for 5,000 for game.
Well, he can only activate that effect when he's attacking a monster,
Yeah.
so he's only be 2,500. But I don't think Spiky plays Battle Fader, so again, what does it really matter?
So that's our match here for round 4. We still have a little more time left in the round, so we may try to go put another match on stream. Just stay tuned, and we'll, if not, we'll see you round 5, our final round.
Welcome to round 5, our last match of the night. Here we've got Zach Fox, who, if you saw earlier, he lost to Metal Foes. This is currently table 1. He would be playing against Clay, who you saw earlier playing the Lunalight Metal Foes deck. We do have one current undefeated, but the way that the tables are set up and the way our pairings have done, these two are going to have to play.
Because Hutch played both of these players, so
Correct. So if
kinda
Hutch,
awkward.
okay, so thanks guys.
Still, the sad thing is we still couldn't really see what their hands were, but Zach opens with Gofu, so it's always good. Clay's counter, Tinky,
Counter
Blue Cat,
Tinky,
Sheep, I think.
yes. And I'm currently looking up some of the Lunalight monsters themselves, so we'll have a better understanding of what each card does. So I think Zach's going to open up with the Tzolk'in play. Yep. He's not even wasting time.
Yeah, Zach's like, I'm tired, I'm ready to go home, I'm going to make a Tzolk'in and a Crystal Wing, I'm going to get rid of one card.
He's going to hope for the draw here. And if not, he probably has a set. He's also got a Bowl Flame too, so... Oh, he's got the guaranteed set. He's just trying to get to a 1 scale, and I believe that's a Desires.
Whew.
So Zach opened pretty much... Oh, that's a painful.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So this play is going to get really bad for Clay.
Well, it depends on what else Zach's going to throw out.
He's got a guaranteed set here. I want you to keep that in mind. He's got a guaranteed set in hand with the Desires.
Why didn't... Odd he didn't set the Desires first, triggering Tzolk'in's effect, then flipping it. I don't think there's any reason not to do that.
He probably should have here.
Yeah.
Or he's going to pop the scale.
What I'm saying is there's no reason not to just set the Desires, just to go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Because you never
Yes.
know what you could draw. What happens if you banish all of your targets? As unlikely as it is still
And
possible.
he waited to use Tzolk'in until he set the second card. So he's going to bring out Crystal Wing here. Then Pendulum.
And if you can kind of make out any of that messy field, it's...
Tzolk'in, Crystal, Gold Driver, and Volflame. So Clay here is going to activate Tinky.
Looks like Clay's got a full set of scales.
He does. But the biggest thing that with that, and I believe that's the Black Cat.
The Blue Cat, yeah.
Blue Cat, excuse me.
And that's Sheep, so he's going to be able to search for a poly.
Yes.
With
And
that.
for some of y'all who don't know, the Lunalight Blue Cat's ability is if this card is special summon, he can target a Lunalight monster he controls, except the Blue Cat. Its attack becomes double its attack until the end of the turn. And then he can only use that effect once per turn. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, he can special summon Lunalight from his deck.
Meanwhile, Zach activated Maxi.
Yes. And the other Lunalight monster he played was the White Rabbit.
Making a rank 2 here.
So he might make the... Yes.
The Prohibition, so he's going to get a draw off that, and then it's the Prohibition to try and bait out the Crystal Wing.
Which,
Basically.
if I was Zach, I'd probably just go ahead and do it. He's in a
There's
good
no reason not to.
He's in a good position. He's going to check on the Prohibition one as well.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it, and I can't really quite tell. I think it's number 8.
But yeah, Zach's going to go ahead and negate it. He's like, well, I mean, I might as well gain some attack and put it on the field, because there's no reason to give you a beat stick and have my Crystal Wing negated, so...
And
So
see,
Clay's going to pop the Tinky with the Vol Flame, some good synergy there, and he's probably going to set a counter.
if I was him, I would.
Yeah. The problem here is, though...
Zach's board's just a little too...
And
Well-
if he does not deal with the Tzolk'in, he's just going to be able to set, make an Ignister, and just deal with that counter.
And-
whatever he summons, more than likely.
And here comes the Poly for the Lunalight.
Now, this is the one that cannot be destroyed by battle, I believe.
I think he brought out Cat Dancer.
Yes.
So
And
with Cat
I'm-
Dancer...
yeah, you got it.
Yeah. This card cannot be destroyed by battle. Once per turn during main phase, when you contribute one other Lunalight monster for the rest of the turn, the first time each monster your opponent controls will be destroyed by battle, it is not. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each. If this card declares an attack, inflict 100 points of damage to your opponent. So really, here it's not going to matter because Zach's going to get rid of the Volflame and the Cat Dancer.
And yeah, using both the counters is kind of irrelevant. Actually, I'm kind of well. Maybe he didn't have enough. I feel like he would have had enough damage on board if he would have gone. If he would have popped his Volflame to shuffle back the Dancer.
Zach's perfectly fine here.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna matter. I mean,
It's not going to matter what Clay brings out because with as much presence he's got on board because he's got a Benbuku in hand too. So he could use the Volflame, pop the Gold Driver, set a card, then he can normal the Benbuku, get to a Kieran.
I guess my thought process is just why make it drag out one more turn when he doesn't have to? Because now Clay has a full set of scales, unless he has an emptiness or something else.
Also, I think Zach's going to want to learn more about his deck.
Touche.
That maybe he sees that he's got this game under control, but Zach wants to know more about it, and he knows Clay's not going to give up without a fight. So he may just be trying to do
emptiness.
That's game 2. But like I was saying, most players will try to drag a game out if they got it under control. If their opponent's not going to scoop, learn much about their deck as possible.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
Because there's certainly, and it's not really cheating. It's just more.
Oh, of course not. It's
just understanding what your opponent can do. And as we see here, Zach could possibly side into Solemn Strikes.
Yeah.
I believe he just sided in Regeki.
Because there's a good chance Clay, even though he just saw it devastating and Clay siding anti-spells and pendulum holes, it looks like, so maybe he's going first.
I think Clay may want to take the first turn approach because as devastating as that board.
Actually, it looks like he kept them in. He may be siding some hand traps. My first impression is for Clay to want to go second, obviously, but like you said, just seeing how devastating that opening can be. But if you open Max C against that field, it's not quite as scary. So he might be siding in some board wipes and maybe some hand traps. We'll see. That's what I would side in if I was Clay's position.
And Zach, he could possibly go with, this is a little odd choice, but non-fusion area. It's one of those old cards that you don't really see, and it would utterly destroy this deck.
Is he siding that? Do we know?
He's not, but it's just an idea.
Oh yeah.
If it's good against metal foes.
Well, does it?
Because don't get me wrong, it's really out of the ballpark type deal.
It's funny you bring that up because how would that impact ABCs? Would that prevent ABCs from making Buster Dragon? How is that ruled? Because
it won't stop them, I don't believe, because it's contact fusion.
That's right. It's a little different.
Any type of contact fusion with non-fusion area, it's not necessarily considered a fusion summon.
Okay.
It is considered special.
Okay.
Because if you'll read stuff like the Gladiator Beast,
okay.
the ABC Dragon, which I can pull up because I've got it currently saved for playtesting. Where are you? Here it is. It must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the following, or banishing the above cards you control.
Does it say anything about this is treated as a fusion summon, anything like that? I don't think it does, but I just wanted to make sure.
You do not have to use polymerization. It is not treated as fusion.
Gotcha.
And that's the one thing, too.
Make sure
the Gladiator Beasts are read the same thing. And Clay let Zach go first. So we're going to see almost the same board here. Because Zach does have... I think he has
Bambuku and a Gold Driver.
I thought I saw Kieran. It may be Bambuku.
And see, Clay's strategy of thinking, well, hopefully I'll open Regeki and a field spell looks like it's not paying off.
This is not looking good for Clay.
Let's see how this board ends up. It should be pretty...
Is going to have a... Because, see, if Zach doesn't get to a scale here, he may just...
He's got a counter and a Bambuku up.
He's got a set automatic, so right now he's looking for the other scale. He did. He got it. That's a Volflame in hand. So he's going to make... to Zolkis... This is... Oh, man. He's going to... Oh, wait. I've totally...
That's the counter, yeah.
I forgot. He normal summoned the Silvered.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be able to normal the Bambuku. But he does get to Pendulum out Bambuku to bring out Kieran and Silvered. This is just... This is...
But he'll still have Kieran for next turn. He's got a counter set. So it's still obviously a very strong field, but it's not quite as strong as it...
And not to mention, he's going to have another counter because he's going to use the Volflame to pop the Silver. And as we're going into our last round, possibly our last match of the night, looking ahead, you know that the Yugi Kaiba starter decks are coming out next week.
Oh boy, do I!
Everybody's looking forward to ABC. As you see, Clay bringing out Tinky's probably searching for the Blue Cat. With ABCs and the new Magnet Warriors coming out, I think Kaiba's structure deck's gonna be a little overlooked, and that is the.
You mean the Yugi?
No, Kaiba's being looked at more than...
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
I may have misworded that, but Kaiba's decks are being more noticeable than Yugi's. what if I don't think I think we do have the complete spoiler list for both because of the New York Comic Con. We got to see a lot of the cards that are being in the set. I couldn't remember if there's any unique or anything special that we need to know about it besides we're getting ABCs, we're getting new magnets. Was there any other reprints do we know about?
Was Secret Village reprinted in the Legendary decks, or is it being reprinted into Yugi?
It is going to be in the Legendary decks.
Okay, that's right.
So it's already we got the common reprint.
You know, it's mostly just a bunch of monsters used in the anime, so Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, like Dark Blade, some of the Skull, those types of monsters. I don't know too much about the Magnet Warriors, but I do know that they're a type of... The word you used was overlooked. I think that's a good word to describe. I think they will be a fun, maybe a tier 3 type deck, and I see one of our players like Devin just eating that deck up and figuring out the best way to utilize it because, I mean, is it on the level of ABCs? Absolutely not, but I still think there's going to be good deck lists to be had in...
And I'm currently looking up the spoiler list for the Yuki Kaiba.
Yeah, but please share because I'm not sure what else other than obviously the Magnet Warriors and the ABCs that are really coming out that are new cards. That is.
I'm hoping we'll get a reprint of some really good cards. Now we do know that the ABC monsters themselves are getting a foil rarity. They're going to be super rares, I believe.
Okay.
And the Magnet Warriors as well are going to be super rares.
I'm assuming that the Buster Dragon and the Hanger will be the ultras.
I think Hanger's going to be the common.
Okay.
And the
is it Blue Eyes? I'm guessing it's going to be an ultra.
I believe so, but ABC is going to get it as well.
Yeah. Because we've seen in the structure decks recently that typically you'll have 2 ultra rares and then the 3 supers. If you just look at things like the Monarch structure deck or the Perform Pal structure deck that came out, the Pendulum one. So
I'm trying to see if they have a TCG currently because they have OCG.
I know most of the cards are the same. There were a handful that were swapped out, but I'm not sure if they were like. I think it was more anime-related cards. I'm not 100% sure if they were.
All right, so for the Yugi starter deck, we're getting the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, and they're Electromagnet Warriors.
Okay.
They're all those that I just listed were supers. The Berserkion is Ultra, and I don't see anything that's just come out to me that just kind of indicates we get a Spell Shattering Arrow and Swords Concealing Light. That's not bad, and we also get Magician's Circle.
Wow. How about that?
Well, it's not. It's the old trap card, so it's not like it's the new one.
Okay, I was thinking it was the new Secret. I was like, wow, I had no idea that was. In
We
there.
get a new Arcana Night Joker, and we also get Super Conductive Battlebot, which is going to be the ultra rare in the Yugi set.
Okay.
In the Kaiba, we're getting A Assault, B Buster, and C as the super rares. The Blue Eyes White Dragon, the Jump, as the another one. We're also getting anything Union Hanger. It's just gonna be a common. Crush Card's gonna be the Premium Pack 5.
Venus Chain's a decent reprint. I know it's not seeing lots of play, but it's always, even as a common, it's always been a $3 or $4 card. So
Ring of Destruction is not bad. And then the ABC is gonna be the ultra rare.
Yeah.
And as you kind of see in this matchup right now, Zach's bringing out Nirvana. He did everything he could to bring out Nirvana High Paladin.
Yeah, he just wanted to do it. He was trying to flex a little bit. It's like, hey, look what I can do.
Exactly. But with the Yugi Kaiba structure decks coming out, I think a lot of players are gonna use the Kaiba structure decks a lot more. And I'm kind of wanting to talk more about the Yugis because we all know ABC. We all know everybody's gonna be playing that deck. But with Yugis, a lot of players, might not see, and as you see, Zach won in an impressive fashion of bringing out the Ori Hulk, attacking over the Gold Driver and Nirvana Paladin, doing half of his life points away.
And I think one of the things to take away from that match is, although Clay's strategy was, well, hopefully I'll open some hand traps, maybe a board wipe or twin twisters. Yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to realize, you know what, even though my deck wants to go second, I just can't allow my opponent to have a Gofu, Kieran, the whole nine. But at the end of the day, hindsight's 20/20, and had he gone first, I'm not sure how much he would really
And
stop
Clay
Zach,
being at one of the top tables running this deck, it really shows the creative side of some players. The fact that he saw that, I can bring out Luna Lights and at the same time combine it with Metal Foes to create a really good deck that can perform even at locals. I could see him playing this at a regionals and doing well.
Could too. I mean, of course, I know that he has a love affair with AVC, and he's been testing it for a while, so I know he'll be playing that. But once he gets his Empire out of the way, I would not be surprised to see this type of deck.
And see,
in the regionals.
I'm having to do that as well. I'm fixing to have to get ready for regional season coming up. As we patiently wait to see if we have another match available. If y'all will just stand by with us. If we decide that we're going to be done for the night, we will come back. If not, we will hopefully have another round. So if you will, please stand by. We are back again. Just wanted to inform y'all that we will be calling it for the night on our stream out of our 5-round locals. If you will, stay tuned in for Saturday, the 15th. We will be doing another stream as well for our locals, and hopefully we will have just as big of a crowd as we did on our Thursday night locals. Just a reminder, a week from today we will not be hosting our stream, but we still will be hosting our locals. We will be capping off at 8 players. Simply because we are going to be closing a little early that night. So if you want to play, get here around 6 o'clock and make sure you're in line for locals. With that, my name is Jamie. My other commentator is Will Best, who currently stepped out of the room. We would like to tell you good night, and hopefully you'll come check us out.